Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is June 10th, 2018. My name's Eric Peters, and joining me today, Mr. Dan Curtis.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We got Mr. Mike Tyson.
Hello, everyone.
He's so quiet.
Yeah, I don't want to upset anyone.
Okay, good. You're still a little loud. Can you tone it down?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can maybe lower.
I'm just gonna speak like this for every show from now on.
Maybe lower your chair a little bit.
No, I nearly killed myself.
And last but not least, and finally rejoining us from the land of maple syrup and hockey, Mr. Tom Reagan, also known as Canadian Reagan.
Canadian Reagan.
Canadian Reagan. Oh, I like the round of applause. That was good.
Yeah.
Was that Hazel in the
What's
back?
up?
No, she's gone.
Oh. Thought maybe we had a live audience.
No, it's just me. Slapping a fish against a plank of wood.
Your thighs.
A big floppy fish right on the thigh.
It's going to be one of them shows.
Not like our live show where we had 2 live audience members.
Yeah, but all they did was sit and take the piss out of us.
Oh, yeah.
That was just because they got sick of being in Tom's really small room.
They could only play. They could only play so much Dream Phone.
Got about 3/4 of the way through, and 2 heads came around the door and went, "Are you still recording?"
We're thirsty.
The
Love
show
us.
took a definitive downward turn once they showed up.
Yeah, because it was really good quality to start with.
And we didn't discuss the game.
At all.
I was practically dead in the corner with a cold.
You weren't just a pumpkin, you were the entire patch.
I know, right?
Welcome back, Tom. It's been too long.
Thank you. It has.
In
It's
fact,
been
Tom-
quite the transition.
In fact, Tom, I'd like to say, welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is.
See, we spent ages saying the date before this show, and Mike's went and forgot it.
Yeah, I know. I got confused about which way around to say it. All that discussion about which way around to say the date, I got myself all muddled up.
Don't start this debate. We can't have another one. Please no. Please no.
Tom, when was the last time you were on this show? Metal Gear Solid 2?
1986.
Yeah, before I was born. I think...
Really showing your age.
Yeah. I wasn't on
Honey
Animusha.
Mushy Peas, you went on that.
Yep.
I think the last show you were on was Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't
What
do
was
God
the
of
show?
War.
Yeah, I did do God of War. That was the last show I was on.
It was me who missed God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not. I've only missed 2 shows. Not too bad. But it just feels like forever.
It does. I mean, that's a month-ish. And then some.
No,
He
it's
has
good to
just
be
moved
back.
continents. It's a pretty big deal.
Welcome to North America, by the way.
Thank you.
The land
Everything's
of
different.
teeming freedom.
Oh, I can smell it. It smells
The wind
syrupy.
blows the right way. That freedom. Oh,
It's intoxicating.
Yeah.
Just imagine every time the wind blows north, Tom just stands there and the American national anthem plays with his hand over his heart.
Oh, yeah. I went to a hockey game last week and they played the American national anthem.
Why
That
not
was
the
good.
Canadian?
Because it was the Texas Stars against the Toronto Marlies. So they played the national anthem for the Texas Stars.
See, when we have out-of-country visitors, we still play the American national anthem.
Can we just say for a minute how good Eric's thing was he sent us on WhatsApp, where you had America, he had all of his screens behind him with American flags on, saluting his ridiculous back-to-back World War II winners hat. And just saluting while the national anthem played. Just woke up to that on WhatsApp, and I was like, what is going on?
I love it.
I think I even had my GW shirt on too.
I think you did, yes.
Yeah, and you had the glasses as well.
Oh yeah, the freedom glasses.
Oh, yeah. Surprised
Kind
you
of
didn't have
went all
tiny
out.
American flags jammed up your nose or something.
I was looking for them, and then I couldn't find them. And as soon as I was done and had sent it, I found.
They're all in Tom's flat, that's why.
Yeah.
That seems to be a running thing with those flags. Whenever you want them, you can't find them.
Yeah. I have 150 of them in my hot little hand right now.
In your little hand.
Hot little hand.
Oh.
Turning up late to
Take
help
my-
out,
take
like
my
America in
forehead.
World War II.
Ooh, good one, Mike. Need I remind you who the champions were?
I believe it was a joint effort.
Ah, yes, but without us.
Would have been
Go
fine.
on.
I'm just going to leave you to draw your own conclusion on that one.
We'd all
Go
be
on.
fat.
Yes, that's it. We'd all be fat. Fat Germans.
Go on.
I'm not going to go on. It's not a history lesson.
Go on.
How was the move, Tom?
Pretty seamless actually in the end,
Yeah?
but
Jeeves excelled himself.
he did.
So I
like
remember...
play?
I remember you saying when you were first going to move that you were giving yourselves each 2 suitcases. Did that really end up that way?
It did. Yeah, 2 suitcases.
Was it like the proper way of doing it, though, where it's like 2 suitcases each, but one of your suitcases actually belonged to Kat, so you only got 1 suitcase?
No, I actually.
And was one of
I
the
had
4 and Tom
suitcases
had a
full of
backpack.
English... Was it one of the suitcases full of English sweets?
Well, one of them did have a box of Twining's English tea. Because you can't get it over here.
What?
Really?
I can get it here.
Yeah, I guess you can find it in like a British shop with a serious markup.
I'll find some guy down a back alley. Ooh, you got any tea bags?
I can get it for
any loose leaf?
like $3 at Walmart.
Yeah, mate, you got any loose leaf?
I've got Darjeeling. I've got Earl Grey. You slick.
I've got
Since I like you, here's some Tetley. They make it from real chimps, you know.
Here, governor, somebody tells me you've got English breakfast.
What you've heard is true.
there is another tea. There is another tea here called Orange Pico. I can't.
Is that
remember
orange
how
or
to-
orange?
Orange.
Orange.
Orange Pico.
How do you spell? Oh, Pekoe.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, that's apparently the closest to English breakfast here.
Are you serious? You can't just go to the grocery store and get a thing of English breakfast.
There is English breakfast, but I don't trust it. It looks a bit weird.
So you're gonna go with something called Orange Pico.
Well, that was what there's like a British there's like a Facebook page for Brits that live in Canada.
It's what they told me at border control.
Yeah.
Can't have none of this. I'm looking at the packaging here, and it says it's made by Cylons
Never heard of them.
from Battlestar Galactica.
Actually-
Come on, Tom.
I went to a house party last week, and it was everybody there was British. It just felt really weird. Like we've all just moved
What, like
across.
off the Facebook group?
It was actually a friend of Kat's who's already moved here, and
It was my
They were just
father's
like-
brother's uncle's former roommate.
they were just introducing us to some new people. But it was really weird, like being all the way over here and just being at a party full of Brits.
Can't get away from them.
Yeah. Hey guys, how have you been getting on here?
Hey, at least they weren't from the northeast. All would have been queuing up for the window outside. Tell ya.
Can we look in at the party?
Me first. Me first.
Not until you stand in line for 20 minutes.
You got it.
What is
you just gotta
iHerb?
do it.
What's what?
iHerb.
iHerb? Where?
You
It's not herb. For God's sake.
You
Eric.
sound like such an idiot trying to say iHerb without the H. iHerb.
iHerb. It's an herb.
Herb. Herb. How you doing, Herb?
No, when it's a guy's name, it's Herb. Like the guy that owns the Bucks and started the Kohl's chain of clothing stores. Herb Kohl. But if he drinks tea, he's Herb drinking herbs.
That's fucking stupid.
It just makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense when you think
this
about
is nearly as dumb as the football conversation from yesterday.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How's no language barrier yet then, Tom? You've just been talking to British people.
Everyone for the most part understands me, but people are really struggling with Kat.
Really?
They are.
Really?
Yeah.
She speaks the Queen's.
Indeed. But I think that might be the problem.
Has she got any
Just
British discounts?
No. That's reserved only for stores in Arizona.
That's for Bookmans. I don't know if we told this, but I took Tom and Kat to one of the local game stores here, and Kat was talking to the cashier, and he's like, I really like your accent. I'm going to give you a discount.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And but the thing that I found the most difficult here is the financial system, the banking system.
The balloons.
Yeah, the banking here is really old school.
I will trade you this moose for your English breakfast tea.
Do you trade in beads?
Well, I think they've only just got chip and pin.
No, that is completely false, because when I was back in Canada in 2012, they had chip and pin, and I'm like, what is this sorcery? And we didn't get it for like 5 more years.
Wow, we've had it since I was a child in the UK. Which is
we've had it
madness.
a real long time.
Yeah. Well, so I opened a bank account here, and that was a shit show. But I got a leaflet in from them, and it said a guide to the technology behind chip and pin.
You have a chip and you have a pin.
Mike, you'd be a terrible brochure writer.
Well, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Chip,
We're doing the new prospectus at work at the moment. Do you want to come and do it for us, Mike? It'll be excellent.
Also,
College,
they still
courses,
write checks.
do what you want.
What'd you say, Tom?
I'm still having to if to pay rent here, you have to write it in a check.
Ugh.
Which I've actually never written a check in my life.
Did you have to Google it?
No, Kat knew.
Just get Jeeves to do it for you. Problem solved.
That's why.
Why don't you just do like automatic bank transfer? That's what we do with ours.
They don't do that. They
Why
don't do
can't
that.
you just
for,
do a
for
direct
rent.
debit?
There's no such thing.
Why can't you just
Why?
move to America where everything's better?
Don't
Why not?
know how to pronounce herb. It's ridiculous.
Just don't pay your rent.
That's the better thing. Just squatters' rights.
They do pre-authorized credit debit, sort of, if that makes sense. So they'll take, so you can pay your bill through your credit card automatically every month,
Yeah.
but not through debit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really backwards. And kind
Move
of
back,
been
Tom.
struggling with it. Yeah, I think I might. This has been a
Welcome
shit show
back
anyway.
to Financially Sealed, the banking podcast.
Where we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Which is also
We
true
don't
of this
know
show
what day
right
it is.
now.
Aside from your banking mishaps, Canada
Yep.
in general.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. We're really having a really good time, and the weather has been amazing.
I was about to say, you haven't mentioned the weather yet. You're an Englishman abroad.
I know. I've been wearing shorts every day.
You're there for like the
Since
3
I got
weeks
here.
out of the year where it's nice, so.
No, it's a good few months. It's really nice here.
Just wait for that winter, son.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Just you wait.
I can't wait. It's gonna be like Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Then you can come down to Arizona where the winters are great.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's my plan.
Yeah.
See, I
So
heard that
hope
from
you-
someone.
I heard it too.
It might have been a brochure written by Mike Tyson, actually.
Arizona, summer suck, winter's good.
Possible human puddle.
Human puzzle.
Sorry.
Tasty.
playing with this random little bit of plastic that I found on the desk, and for some reason I was chewing it. And
At least you didn't say something else.
Are we that boring? You're on the show and you're losing interest. So what does that say about other people? Goodness.
Dan, put Candy Crush down.
That's not what he calls it.
Fruity matchy.
Fruity matchy. Yeah. How's everybody else aside from Tom's continental shift?
I've been trying to get through the language barrier of Yorkshire.
Oh
Yeah.
You want to offend everybody from Yorkshire again?
Yeah, why not? No, I love Yorkshire, but man, they talk fucking weirdly here. So I started my new full-time job last week, and
Hooray! Woo! Mike's not poor!
woo! And all of last week, I was out with like another driver, and he was proper Yorkshire. And the best example of something he said, I didn't have a fucking clue. He was, brought any snap with thee? What? Brought any snap with thee? What are you saying? Brought any snap with thee?
Are you from the past?
He was like, I was like, snap? He was like, yeah, have you brought any food with you? I was like, yes, I've brought lunch, thanks. Snap? Like, no,
then he just went,
the proper
give it to me.
And you've never heard anyone call it snap, have you?
Nah.
No idea.
Scran, yes. Snap, no.
You say scran as well, don't you, up there?
Yes, that's what it is.
Scran.
Oh, I thought you said. What you said? Scram.
No, Scran with an
Why
N.
am I
Daddy Scran.
Why am I getting a calendar invitation to come on the show? I'm already on the show.
Just reminding you.
Okay, but yeah, language barrier in Yorkshire, man. I've only moved counties, and I'm having more trouble than Tom.
That does sound really tough, though, because that's probably how they all speak to each other.
Yeah,
and they're just expecting you to fully get it.
Yes, it's not easy. I sound so fucking posh compared to everyone here.
Excuse me, sir.
Hast thou brought any snap with thee?
Jeeves, prepare my snap.
Is it snap time yet? Sir,
Jeez,
would you like
where
your
is my
morning
scran?
snap or second snap?
He didn't say the word night once. He always said neat as well instead of night, as in like nighttime. So,
Yeah, Geordies do that as well.
yeah, neat. It's just
Oh, that would
what you
confuse me.
doing to neat? I mean, I got that bit, but just all the time. It's just hard. It's hard, man. If I start having a wacky accent like in the next few months, I do apologise.
Having a whack?
No, wacky accent.
Yeah, I stopped after whack.
Oh, a waxent.
Wacky.
Oh.
A waxent. Wow.
How about you, Dan? How's life?
Life is good, thank you, Michael. I haven't moved anywhere, so nothing much to report, really.
No new
The
trips planned?
The queue for the window hasn't moved.
No, I'm still in it.
for a
3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, still going. I'm nearing the front. I'll find out what's in this house eventually.
Mavis from 32 was having a good look.
Is there a newspaper for Hett?
There is. We do get a village newsletter called Hett Happenings once every quarter.
Give us some juicy gossip from
Oh,
Hett.
let's
What's
hear it.
happening?
There isn't any. It's honestly, you get it through the door, and it's probably about 40 sheets of A4 paper. There's no need because now it happens.
It's
Literally
all
nothing.
adverts.
No, it's not. It's just this guy one guy does it, and he just puts so much shit in there. Like he starts talking about the weather in Hett. I'm like, I know, I live here. It's like an entire section dedicated to that. And then there's a bit about what's been happening in the village hall. And then there's There's usually somebody moaning about the road outside.
Wow.
Remind me for next show, and I'll get it and I'll read it out because it's hilarious.
Do they have a digital version
do
of
a
it?
dramatic reading.
Oh, they do have it?
I'll gather some snippets.
Guys, nope, here it is right here. I found it. It's hetvillagehall.co.uk/het-happenings.
It is indeed. Can you download it as a PDF?
I don't know. Hett Happenings is the regular newsletter of Hett Village Hall Association, also known as the HVHA.
When was this website built?
At the beginning of the internet, I think.
Oh, a brief history of Hett. Oh, this sounds enthralling.
Oh, they abbreviate it to double H as well. It's an issue, double H.
Here we go, guys. Here we go, guys. Guys, hang on. This is one of the sections from Winter 2017. Printing quality. The editor apologises for the occasionally relatively poor reproduction of some articles in the paper version of the newsletters, e.g. in this issue perhaps part of the traffic update and the flyer for Charles Dowding at Bourburn. This is because material, which comes in as email with graphics in inverted commas for some reason, attached, which may themselves originate as electronic documents, sometimes seem to suffer some fading when printed.
This guy sounds enthralling. He wrote an article about the roads going in and out of Hett.
Yep, that's a good one.
Beautiful.
I like how, like, the fifth line down, it just says, on the main page, it's like, an issue may take a few moments to load, so please be patient.
A few months.
There are 4 different fonts on this website.
Areas where it's double typed, double spaced, and areas where it's just one spaced.
I don't even think the font is all the same size.
No, it's not. It's got various different headlines.
If you scroll to the bottom, you can download the actual articles.
That's what I was doing. I was reading from it.
And
please understand that the issues may not necessarily appear in the right order.
This one's got 38 pages.
Oh, Mike Simpson,
God.
you're a blast.
This website's huge.
Ooh, on the left, pond photos, 28th of November, 14.
What?
Ooh.
We do have a local pond. There are ducks in it.
Duck.
Oh my God. I've just found a great image. It's
The picture of 2 dudes.
There's an image of inside, I think it's the city hall. Or the facilities of Hett
It's
Hall.
definitely not a city hall.
Link it. I gotta see what this Pinochle Palace looks like.
This is the most British photo ever.
Have you seen it, Eric?
All it
No.
needs is like some cucumber sandwiches on that table down the middle.
It is the inside of Hett Hall, and there's a long table in the centre covered in a huge tablecloth littered with Union Jacks, and then there are English flags hanging from the ceiling.
Oh man, do you think their site traffic is going to go like up massively as soon as we broadcast?
It's gonna crash.
Yes, that's 4 people this year.
We've got a hit from the USA and Canada.
Here's the pond photo, gents.
Is it the one with the 2
Guys,
dudes? Yeah. Hey, Bill, this is a pond. Yeah, you're right. This is a pond. Take a picture. We're in the pond. Put it in that Hett Happenings.
That'll be really good for the newsletter. You brought me snap with you.
Look at the picture on this page. It shows the entirety of Hett and its 4 buildings.
Which one's your house, Dan?
Dan, why do you live here?
Because it's awesome. My house is actually on the other side where that photo was taken.
Do you look out longingly wishing you could be part of Hett?
I do.
Oh, if only I could be in that village hall.
Ooh, regular events. The page is empty. Regular events. Then there's like a blank space. Then it says. Then there's like a comment section. And it just says, "You do not have permission to add comments."
Guys, page 20. Right, brace yourself for this article because this one is like so exciting. It will make your nipples tingle. It's entitled "Hall Bicycle Rack."
Ooh.
If you had not noticed that the telephone box has disappeared, you can notice the new steel structure at the end of the car park next to the hall. This is normally a cycle rack, though it appears to have more favour as a climbing frame, which one can go up, swing on, and fall off. Gently, of course, if required.
I feel like
What
we need
the
to make
hell?
a pilgrimage to this place.
I do as well. You all need to come visit.
You can hire the village hall for £7.50 an hour.
That's
That's
a
so cheap.
steal.
Oh man, we could record a live show in the village hall.
Yeah.
Live
It'll
from
cost-
Hett Village Hall.
Maximum $30.
Yeah. That's a bargain.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, God.
I can't even rent my office for that.
Beautiful place, guys. Hashtag leave Hett alone.
Hashtag
they do a
why
coffee
the hell
morning.
do you live there?
I like it.
There's a general knowledge quiz. Do you go to that?
I don't like people. There's not many here, so it's great.
Do you ever go to the general knowledge quiz, Dan?
I have not been to the general knowledge quiz, but it is organised by my landlady who lives next door.
Well, Audrey.
Yes, Audrey.
Dan, you're going to be a fucking delight if we ever do like a fan meet and greet. I don't like people.
My God. So
I
funny.
saved this show. I don't need to talk to you. I kid. I will talk to people.
Oh my God! Right, hang on. I'm on the bit like a brief history of Hett Village, and it says a word about us. Hett is one of County Durham's green villages, a small community of about 250 persons living in 90+ residences. What? Do you all just know each other then?
Pretty much.
Did they have to
250
vet
people.
you pretty extensively, though, when you first moved in? Like, did
Yes,
you get that
I-
sideways
it
glance
was-
like, who the fuck are these people?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
More than
This
250
is-
people living on my street.
This is a nice fact. Hett, a township and village formerly included in the parish of Merrington, is an area of 1,279 acres, and its annual value is £2,964.
That's how much it generates in a year. You guys are a booming economy.
We certainly are.
It bumped up a little now because Dan's there and we get Patreon donations.
Oh God. This is a field day.
Oh, it faced demolition at one point.
The whole city?
Hett was classified as a Category C village, not suitable for development, and apart from remaining farms, it faced demolition. This is like a history of it from years ago. It was nearly demolished.
Oh, that would be a waste.
Dan, in over 200 years, you've gathered an additional 100 people in that village.
It's a very exclusive place to live, my friend.
1801, 157 people. 2018, 250.
Honestly, a lot of people have lived here all of their lives.
There's a section about getting in and out of Hett, right? And it says, Hett lost its twice-a-day bus service some years ago, so there's no public transport. So there's no public transport in and out, right?
not.
But then it has a list of roads out of Hett, so that you know how to escape.
How to escape?
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Leave Hett alone.
Right, the end of this bit says, we hope you found this pack helpful and are you just settling in? Do please come along to something. Don't be frightened.
What does that mean?
Don't be frightened of introducing yourself and send Mike Simpson an email. Please come along to something. Anything will do.
Come
They have
see the
regular
pond.
events, remember? Oh,
Jesus.
mission
Dan.
statement.
I imagine it's one of those places where if you move there and you don't get involved, people talk about you.
Probably.
I have a feeling if
So-
word of this show gets out, Dan is going to face Hett deportation.
There's pitchforks and torches at his door.
I'll just move to Canada with Tom. He'll be fine.
Well, that was a good laugh.
Sorry, that has nothing to do with video games.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hett Simulator
Guys.
2018.
Hey, guys.
What?
Hey,
Kingdom
Michael.
Hearts has a release date!
Yay.
Oh,
What
Dan,
does?
I thought you'd at least pick Kingdom Hearts has a release date.
Oh.
I don't know, because it was meant to come out this year, and it's not. So
What?
I don't
What
care.
is it?
It's January 29th.
it'll be pushed back again.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, it'll be March, optimistically.
2020.
Yeah.
It'll come out.
That game's never coming out.
It will. Have
It
more faith, Daniel. You
won't.
like Kingdom Hearts more than I do.
I'm losing faith in Squeenix.
I'll lose your faith in Squeenix.
You know what I love about Square Enix, though, is the fact that they announced what is probably one of their largest games of E3. They decided, we're just going to make this announcement at 1:30 on Sunday morning of our press conference day. Where's the sense in that?
That is kind of strange. Was that was their big reveal, I take it?
Yeah, it's 1:30. Let's put a tweet out. Kingdom Hearts will be out next year.
That has been a trend, though, this year of people revealing things before E3.
Maybe they didn't want to make a big deal of it because it's going to be delayed.
I don't know if it's so much of a reveal, but this year seems to be pretty rife with leaks.
Don't you remember they did that entire presentation for Final Fantasy 15 with the date reveal, and it never came out on that date?
Yeah.
So maybe they just didn't want to make a huge grand song and dance about Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's only been in development about 10 years or so.
They can't guarantee anything at this stage.
At this stage, it's coming out for the PS2. Like, damn it, we started development on this for the PS2, and I'll be damn, we're going to release it on the PS2.
Oh, I'm excited, Mike. I'm looking forward to it. It's just ridiculous how long it takes Square Enix to make a game.
Well, they said recently after Final Fantasy 15 they now know how to make games quicker. I don't know. That's like a contradictory statement, I know, but apparently
they're still releasing DLC for Final Fantasy 15.
They learned a lot about doing Fantasy 15.
So, guys, you feel good with this whole games making thing? Should we have a go at it? Good. Let's see if we can get under the 10-year mark on our next one.
I think I said something to Tom a while back, just saying Tom was like, they'll be hard at work on Final Fantasy VII Remake now, and I was like, Tom, it was then that leaked that picture of that guy where it had a picture of Airbuster in the background of Final Fantasy VII, and then I said, Tom, that guy has another 3 years on his contract of just sitting there doing nothing before they actually start making the game.
Yeah, because I was like, stop posing for photographs, get back to coding.
So the Square Enix conference is today, and I think this is the first time they've done a conference in a while, is it not?
I think they did one last year, actually.
I think they did.
It's Microsoft first tonight, isn't it? Because that's 9 p.m. UK time, so I'll manage to catch that before going to bed, but Final Fantasy is going to happen while I'm asleep.
I would just go to bed, mate. There's probably no point.
I'm looking
it
forward
can't be
to
any
the
more
Microsoft
disappointing
one.
than that fucking EA one last night.
Jesus Christ, that EA one.
No. I'm looking forward to Microsoft because they have the most to gain and the most to lose.
Yeah, but true.
So what do you honestly expect them to show?
Halo.
Crackdown's been delayed again, hasn't it? They've already said.
Yeah. Gears 4.
Some sort of Halo.
No, Gears 5, sorry, isn't it? Gears 4's out. Probably Gears of War Battle Royale.
Halo Battle Royale.
Dan, I don't mean... It sounds like you're saying gays.
Gears of guys!
Solitaire Battle Royale.
Gears of War.
Minesweeper Battle Royale.
That's going to be this year's theme. It actually only took 6 minutes for the first Battle Royale announcement of E3. 6 minutes into the very first press conference.
Excellent.
Battle Royale!
I love that
I've still
Battle
not
Royale.
played any Battle Royale game.
That's what the kids like these days.
I played Fortnite for a little bit, and it's not worth the hype.
I get it. Maybe if I had more time, or if I were 20 years younger.
Yeah,
But I got old.
Damn kids and their Battle Royale shit.
This is the thing, though, right? Like we are seeing a move towards this games as a service thing, and obviously a lot of the kids jump on the bandwagon. But with a game like God of War recently, which came out, it just shows that single player is still amazing.
Yeah, that game is the tits.
Yeah.
Well, I've still not finished it yet.
When the Ubisoft CEO came out yesterday, the number of times he reiterated the word subscription was rather alarming.
Shame it was EA's conference, but you know.
What did I say, Ubisoft?
Whoa.
Yeah. He showed up on the wrong stage. Hey, guys, we're going to have a subscription service.
It's me, Mr. Caffeine again.
Yeah, sorry, EA guy came out. Because they're going to do their EA Origins Premier Access or something like that, where you can have subscription for cloud-based gaming, and we saw how well that worked out for Sony.
Yeah, PS Now is a bit of a shambles.
It's just overpriced.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can
Especially when
rent this
Xbox
game
has
for
Game
2
Pass
hours
now.
for $6, or you can buy it for $7.
So, I think
I'll take the 6.
I think Microsoft will reveal Assassin's Creed Odyssey because they usually show.
Well, it's not been revealed. They've confirmed it's happening now.
Yeah, but they haven't shown trailer. But they usually show some footage at Microsoft's conference, I think.
Well, there was that big
Perhaps.
Walmart leak too that pretty much ruined a lot of stuff, like Rage
Yeah.
2, Gears 5, Just Cause 4. Get it?
Oh,
Oh man. Oh, and then Steam had that fuck up where it started showing up with Just Cause 4. So it's happening. It's gonna be announced.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
And then Tom Clancy's The Division 2.
did you say Yom Clancy's?
Yes, Yam Clancy. He's an Indian developer.
To be honest, though,
For anybody who
other than any
doesn't know,
surprises-
Clancy is from Mr. Caffeine from like 5 years ago.
Google it, watch it. It's hilarious. I think they may announce a new Fable with a new developer.
Yeah, but what's Fable without Molyneux's hype?
Shite.
I refuse to play a Fable not made by Molyneux. I remember
else they call-
the last E3 that...
Sunset Overdrive 2, maybe?
You think?
I don't know.
Maybe
How did that game do?
How about Borderlands 3?
How
Possibly.
about Project Gotham Racing?
If they release another Project
Forza,
Gotham,
probably.
I would buy an Xbox.
Really?
Yes, that's how much I like PGR.
Wow.
I did enjoy the first one a lot,
PGR 2 was the tits.
but I never played that one.
Oh, with the online play, so good.
There's always a chance of a new Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo 3?
3E?
3. You got it.
5E.
You get it now. I see you've been practicing.
It. Is that because it's the fourth game?
Such a cool. What else has Microsoft got? Perfect Dark?
That's not coming
Oh, yeah.
back.
They could reboot that.
Nah, that's a Rare game though. Oh, Microsoft owns Rare, so yeah, they could.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
No, not happening.
What a... Or their Mech Assault series.
That's the
Remember
first
those
game I
games?
ever bought to play Xbox Live.
Was it good?
I don't know. I returned it.
I just hope that they've got some new games this year, like some new franchises.
It would be cool if they brought back Steel Battalion.
Yeah, with that huge ass controller.
Yeah.
Woo! And then support for like 5 TVs.
Yeah.
Oh
Do you,
man.
you guys know about that controller?
Yeah, I've seen it before. It's ridiculous.
Mike, have you seen it?
If you just click on that link, you'll see the image.
Oh, that game
it's
was
just
so good.
Let me see. Oh, Jesus
just this-
Christ.
Yeah.
I saw one of those come into GameStop when I was working and was real tempted to get it, but even used, it was $150 for the controller.
Worth it.
Could something from Sea of Thieves, I imagine, we'll probably see.
Yeah, I think that game is shit on too many people, though, for it to really be redeemed.
Yeah, that came and went really quickly. What happened?
Well, because they basically
know.
released nothing.
Well, this is the thing with these online services games. I mean, look at Anthem last night. They banged on about Anthem and all the things you could do and stuff like that, and then they set the release date, which is now February. But the amount of concept art they showed last night says to me that it's not really that ready yet. And then there was that article I sent you guys that said along the lines of there's not going to be PvP, but they might do in the future. There's not going to be, because it's BioWare game, there's not going to be romances, but they might think about it in the future. It just says to me they're going to release it and just keep adding things as they go, rather than like having that core
Yeah,
experience.
this
at the
comes
beginning.
back to that games as a service thing, which I absolutely hate. Because I don't know, we've had this discussion before where we said we kind of play through games, we kind of stop and then move on to something else. Whereas we're not into this kind of games of a service thing.
It's rare that I buy and play DLC. I really enjoyed Horizon. I don't know if I'm going to buy Frozen Wilds. Because I move on from it. It's just out of my purview and just done. But
I
can't play the same game constantly for ages and ages and ages.
The only game I did that with was Counter-Strike. That was the only game I've ever played for like more than a year. Nothing else.
Well, it's like I said to you guys last night, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. If that's your jam, that's your jam. But, there's people who buy consoles who literally buy it just to play COD and FIFA every year, and that's all they'll do. They'll buy those every year, and that's all they'll play.
Yeah.
We're not that demographic,
Don't these people know Persona 5 is out, for God's sake?
Anthem was one of those few games that the more I learned about it, the less I wanted to play it.
Yeah,
because when they first announced it last year, I'm like, man, that looks pretty good. I might get on board with that. And the more they talked about it, the more I'm like, this is Destiny. This is exactly like Destiny. And then that article from Mike where they're talking about we're just going to release this shell of a game and then build it up. I'm like, great, Destiny mixed with No Man's Sky, awesome.
Ooh.
Now, granted, Destiny 2 was pretty sweet for a while, and then it wasn't.
Still burns you, Dan?
It does.
Did you trade it in?
Even more annoying than that Alka-Seltzer not kicking in, I tell you.
What do you guys think about the Bethesda conference this afternoon? What do you think we're coming from that?
Fallout 76, they've skipped all the rest of the series. Gone straight for number 76. That'll be shown. Wolfenstein 3?
Doom 2,
maybe.
I reckon.
Doom 2.
Ooh, yeah, good shout. Doom was amazing. I don't know if you guys played that one.
Skyrim on Apple Watches.
I saw an article where they said somebody was making a joke. They're going to announce that Skyrim is now playable on the Pip-Boy in Fallout 4.
They still haven't announced whether it's coming to Dad's knee.
Dan's knee.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about my dad's knee.
I missed this.
With its toaster integration.
Referencing an old show, Tom, don't worry.
Do you even listen to the show?
Do you guys even listen to the show? God.
Never.
Not unless we're on it. We're the important ones.
You were on that show.
I was on this show.
I think there's going to be a pretty strong chance that they reveal something about the next Elder Scrolls. It's been 8 years since the last one was announced.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because a lot of people are saying, well, they're doing Fallout 76, but Fallout 76 to me, because it's going to be an online thing, like people have apparently likened it to things like Rust and DayZ, and I don't think it's going to be like a core Fallout game, so they could still do Elder Scrolls alongside it.
It's time.
It seems like they alternate back and forth between Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and it's now time for Elder Scrolls. And Todd Howard has confirmed that they're working on it, because there's that article where he was talking about his son was trying to get information out of him and he couldn't, and it's in development. There's no secret about that.
Well, yeah, they'd have to be fools not to do a new one.
Just a cash printing machine.
I mean, only GTA 5 prints more money.
I think they're going to announce some Rage 2 stuff, obviously.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a lot of surprises.
How about some new Prey?
Possibly. I think that game was a bit of a flop, though.
I don't know. I heard it was pretty fantastic.
Apparently it's really good, but I don't think it sold well.
Yeah.
Because it's in bargain bins already, so...
Well, it was kind of a reboot, because they did a Prey game on Xbox 360 like 10 years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
What was that one? I don't remember.
I do hope they do a new Wolfenstein, though, because I've played both of them recently, and they are really good.
Yeah, the New Order was good.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I've been playing.
I bought it and still haven't got around to playing that.
They're really good, honestly. I like it a lot.
I think I got it for like £3.30 or something.
Oh,
I did as well. I bought it
at
at Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
this isn't Bethesda, but.
Did you say butt?
Somebody, yeah, I did. Someone realized that it was either last week or the week before that the company that normally registers websites for Capcom have registered a new Devil May Cry website and a Resident Evil 2.
See, I thought Resident Evil 2 remake had already been announced.
It's been announced,
Dan,
but like
we talked
it
about
got announced
this.
and we haven't heard fuck all since. And I said on the show a few weeks ago, if we don't hear anything about it this E3, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be at this E3.
God, let's hope so.
I
The
want
only
Old
Devil May
Nemi to
Cry
be
I've played
remade.
is DMC, which I actually quite like.
You got to go back to the originals.
Yeah.
We should do the original DMC for the show sometime.
I was going to say, I wish we
Yeah,
did
definitely.
like a show where we play old games, but
Yeah, it's almost like we just talk about currency and shitty villages in northern England.
Currency.
Tomorrow morning, Square Enix, Dan, let me get your take. Do you think we're going to see anything about that one RPG that some people like?
You know, I'm not getting my hopes up, but if we did, that would be very nice.
It's been 3 years now since they first announced
They've got to have something to show.
I would love to see some footage of the Midgar Zolom. That'd be cool.
I think...
I just want to see all of the characters and things. Be awesome.
I honestly think, and I'm gonna throw this out there. I know I did last time, but I think we're gonna see some sort of detail about how it's gonna be released, and then possibly a date as to when we could expect the first chapter of it.
That's optimistic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
By date, do you mean like an actual date, or do you mean like fall 2019?
Rough
or,
time
that
frame.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Season.
Or I
the word I'm looking for.
hope they pull I hope they pull an EA Unravel, like, hey guys, it's out today.
Oh my god.
I would absolutely lose my shit.
I would
Like,
hear Dan's head explode from here.
I would call in sick to work, I think.
I was going to say, Dan, would you
Yeah.
book some Flobby Wibble?
I don't have any floppy wibble left, but I would still.
Dan would quit his job.
I think I
Fuck
would
you,
do that.
people! Final Fantasy
No,
VII!
I think we need to see some kind of semblance of how the battle system's going to work. We've seen it in the
It's just going to be
PSX
Final
trailer
Fantasy
from years
15.
ago.
That's all it's going to be
Yeah.
is 15.
I think it's going to be like Kingdom Hearts.
Which isn't that far from Final Fantasy 15.
I think it's going to be like Mahjong.
Unusual choice, Michael. But they
I'm
have
a-
done
I'm
card
an
based
unusual
battling
guy.
before.
Mike is known for his unusual requests.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to see it, but
I think we're going to
I'm not getting my hopes
see
up.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, Eric.
And
Shadow of the
then
Tomb Raider.
Dragon Quest 11.
That's a good
Some
shout.
DLC for Final Fantasy 15.
Hasn't
The
there
not
already been
shit
some?
version.
I'm not even kidding. There's more coming.
Is it more VR fishing?
Possibly.
You know why I'm excited
Um,
for Dragon Quest 11? Because I think it's the first console-based Dragon Quest since 8.
I've never played a Dragon Quest game.
Tom, you would love Dragon Quest 8.
Is there dragons in it?
Interesting.
Surprisingly, no.
It's
Any
Capcom, isn't
any
it?
questing?
A little, yeah, a little bit.
Ah, okay.
A little bit. What else?
Am I wrong? Is it Capcom Dragon
Just
Quest?
No,
Just Cause
no.
4, Eric.
Square
Oh,
Enix.
it's Square Enix. Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, God. When I see that Just Cause 4, I will probably need to take a break.
Deus Ex?
Deus Ex?
Deus Ex, yes.
Not going to go down that road.
Did
What
you
else?
guys play Mankind Divided or whatever it was called?
No.
I've got it on PS Plus downloaded, but I've never touched it.
It has the longest intro to a game I've ever seen.
And you played Metal Gear Solid.
No, honestly, I think the intro is longer. Takes ages
the whole
to
of
actually
Metal
get
Gear
into
Solid.
the game. Yeah, just the entirety. It's a film basically, feature length.
The only press conference I'm particularly excited for.
Hang on, sorry, Mike. Square Enix are doing the Avengers game.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sorry, I was
Fart noise to you too,
I was
good
supposed
sir.
to think that, not say it.
That's gonna go either way. It's either gonna be fucking amazing or it's gonna
Games
be
as a service.
Mike, I'd like to know what you were going to say before Dan so rudely interrupted
That's
you.
okay. So the only one I'm particularly, when I say excited, the only one I'm mostly interested in is probably Sony's, because I want to see more of Death Stranding. I want to see gameplay, because at the moment we have no idea what the actual game is. The rumors is it's going to be kind of a bit open worldy like Metal Gear Solid 5 was, but that's what I want to see. I just want to see what kind of game it is, because we know nothing.
It's just a bunch of naked butts walking around.
I don't think you're going to get much of an answer.
This will be one of those games
I think
that
we might get a release date.
I doubt it.
I would like to see more of. Is it Days Gone?
They've just released a release date for that as well.
They've done a media blowout on that recently. Lots of Game Informer did loads of videos and things about it.
See, Mike, I'm not super excited for the Sony conference because typically they're known for really shocking reveals, and this year they've kind of promised that it's just going to revolve around Death Stranding, Spider-Man, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. Like, I want to see what Ghost of Tsushima is. We've seen like a tease trailer. That's it. We don't know anything what the game's going to be like.
Yeah, but I was
really looking forward to Spider-Man as well. So
yeah, I've got that pre-ordered. I'm all over that.
I'll probably buy it so I can wear out my square button.
Dragon Quest VIII looks incredible.
Tom, it's fantastic. It's made by Level 5, the people that did Dark Cloud 2. Get it?
My God, how have I not
my
played
attention.
this?
And Tom, you listening real close? Get yourself a 2DS XL and you can play it on the go because they have ported it to the 2DS, 3DS.
And Tom, don't eat yellow snow.
Got it. These are
Tom,
great life advice.
Tom, don't jack it in public parks.
It's Tom.
Not again. Yep.
It's pronounced herb.
Tom. No, it isn't.
So much conflicting advice now.
Let's see.
Wow. Get it.
The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, we talked about that.
They don't need to show me any more of that. I mean, I'm sold anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
the moment
sold
it was
after the
announced,
first
I'm
game.
sold. Yeah, exactly. Like
It didn't need a sequel, but I played the hell out of it.
I agree. When I got done with it, I'm like, man, I really hope they don't do a sequel. But now that I know it's coming, they don't have to convince me to buy it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Either way.
I'm hoping to see Bloodborne 2.
From Software teased a game at the Game Awards last year. What was that?
Just a teaser which said Shadows Die Twice, but the font really looked like Bloodborne. And the setup for it. But some people think it might be Tenchu.
Ooh. Can you imagine?
Do you guys think we get, like, there will be no gameplay or anything, but literally just a tease to kind of say that it's... I mean, it's going to happen anyways from the end of the last game, but do you think we get a tease of Horizon? Like the next Horizon?
Ooh,
even if it's just like a little
cool.
trailer of Aloy coming up over a hill or something like that. But
I'd love that.
Horizon, One Dawn.
Zero Dusk.
Yeah. But yeah, do you think we get something like that? I mean, the last game. This isn't a spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it yet, but like the end of the game, like obvious sequel is obvious. So
I think that's addressed in the DLC, though.
Maybe
because
DLC. I don't know what else Guerrilla Games are doing.
Oh man, if they're not pouring all of their resources into the next Horizon, they are idiots.
They are, believe me. That game did really well.
Yeah, I reckon they probably are, because they just did Killzone before. That was basically it. It's possible. I don't see why not. I would love to see
more
a new
Horizon.
game.
I love that game.
Yeah.
We might see Cyberpunk 2077 at some point. It's been a long time since The Witcher 3.
I still feel like it's a long way away, but we might get something. Because we didn't hear anything last year.
What about Switch games? What we've seen Switch-wise?
I'd like to see a bit more about, maybe a little bit more Octopath Traveler.
Yes! Woo!
Yeah. That would be really cool. That's just the next game on Switch I'm really looking forward to.
I want to see Metroid Prime 4.
Ooh, yeah.
I wouldn't mind see some of the new core Pokemon game, which is apparently coming out next year. Not Let's Go Eevee.
I don't think they'll show that because they don't want to. They won't want to confuse the market having footage of Let's Go and footage of the one from next year.
Yeah, because Nintendo never confuses the market.
I'm not.
Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna.
New Nintendo at DS ring a bell? Anyone?
I'm not taking the piss out of this because I know Nintendo really thrives on this. But how many big AAA third-party ports do you think we're going to see?
Lots.
Because wasn't there a rumor or something about them porting Diablo or something like that?
I thought that was a thing of just a new Diablo was being made.
No. Oh, here it goes. Diablo 3 is really coming to Nintendo Switch, according to... And then it cuts off.
By the way, has Dark Souls Remastered been delayed on Switch?
Yeah,
it was
September.
a later release date. Yeah.
Ugh.
So
I thought they just said summer.
I think it's September. I started playing that again this past weekend. I'm not in the mood for Dark Souls right now.
Yeah, I looked at it in the shop today, Eric, and I was like, I can't.
It's really interesting to play through it again because I have such vivid memories of that. You and I, Dan, played that for weeks on end, just playing through it together and going through those different locations. It was kind of a good nostalgic trip, but I don't know if it's just what's going on in life or my current mindset with gaming. Like, I just don't have the patience for a Souls game right now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because Dark Souls
controversially, I actually like Bloodborne better.
I don't know. I think Dark Souls 3 was the pinnacle of the series if we don't talk about Demon Souls.
I thought the first Dark Souls was better than 2 and 3.
3 was the peak. And then 2 was just a okay mess of a lot of stuff.
They just didn't feel like the same interconnected worlds as the first one did. I didn't like that. Yeah.
As far as a Switch, I think we're going to see an Animal Crossing game.
Switch Vitality Sensor.
Like the Switch Watch. Made by Swatch.
I'd be surprised. They're doing a Pokeball, so anything's possible.
Dan, you're probably the only other person here who kind of gets as excited over Pokemon as me. What do you think to the Let's Go stuff?
I think it looks all right.
I'm 100% getting it. I mean, Hazel's nephew,
get it,
Joe. We said that we'll get the opposite version to what he gets, and then obviously him and Hazel can do stuff together. But I don't know. I'm quite excited. I'm not going to pick up Pokemon Go again for it because obviously it links with that. I can't be asked to go through that, but I think it's an interesting concept. Tide is over.
Do you guys think?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
You heard it's like it's almost like a Pokemon Yellow remake. It's set in Kanto and has the original 151 plus their Alolan versions.
But you get like a Pokeball accessory, or you use the Joy-Cons as motion controls to catch Pokemon.
Yeah, there's no wild battles. There's trainer battles, but no wild battles at all.
I know Rockstar doesn't have a big track record of showing stuff at
Red Dead 2.
E3, but do you think we're going to see anything about Red Dead 2?
They just released a trailer, so
I don't think
they
we'll see
don't need
anything.
to. That game's going to sell gangbusters anyway. They could just that original tease they did where it was literally just said Red Dead Redemption 2. They could have just released that and it'll still sell millions.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about this one. From what I've seen, it looks like it's actually going to be a good game.
Yeah, I loved the first one.
Oh, me too.
I don't know about that. Oh,
not
Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah,
surely we're going to see some Smash Brothers.
Haven't they already said they are showing that?
Yeah, I think so. It's
I'm
playable
sure they've said
there.
yeah. Is it just going to be called Smash Brothers again, just to be confusing?
What are your thoughts on... I don't know. I honestly think it's just going to be some sort of revised, upgraded port of the Wii U version.
Nah.
I don't know. I'm just not... Smash Brothers, I'm not that bothered about it.
I mean, I've not really played any Smash. This might be the first time I get properly into it.
Smash Brothers Brawl was really good on Wii because that had a story mode.
I got real into the Wii U version.
Going to what you were saying, Eric, about it being just kind of a port of the Wii U version, I don't think it is. I think they would have said that by now.
Yeah, I think so too.
I genuinely hope that it's not just a port.
I don't think it will be.
I think Mario will use his Cappy powers from Odyssey.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool, though.
And then they get the new Breath of the Wild Link in there and all that.
Mm-hmm. And all that jazz.
Do you think that we're going to see anything in the way of a new Zelda game? Because I don't know how I missed this before, but there were some pretty strong rumors circulating around that there was in the works a remake master of Link's Awakening, kind of like what happened with Link Between Worlds.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That'd go on the 3DS, though, I think. I mean, Nintendo have said they're going to support the 3DS for another couple of years yet.
Yeah, but
I think if they do Link's Awakening, I think it'll be 3DS.
So this was from January. Here, I'm going to send the link to you guys. I don't know how it flew under the radar. It could just be complete garbage, but holy shit. If that is actually true, it's the only game I'll need.
Well, there we go. Continue to article. Say this website is like shit. There we go. Yeah, so there you go. See, 3DS.
Yeah.
See, I think what Nintendo should do is, because the thing is, Breath of the Wild was such a departure from normal Zelda, and obviously the 3D Zeldas since Ocarina of Time, you have to admit they've all been a bit samey. Wind Waker maybe the exception. They've all been a bit samey, and I think with Breath of the Wild, you can't just repeat that exact same idea again. They can't make the next 3D Zelda, that much like Breath of the Wild. Oh. I think the next step for them would be to have a kind of, how like Majora's Mask was built on kind of the same engine with a different adventure. I think something like that with the Breath of the Wild engine would be the best way for them to get another Legend of Zelda out quickly that's in the 3D space.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is that they just need to do what Majora's Mask did for Ocarina of Time. That'd be the best way.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
But I'm not going to hold my hopes up for the Link's Awakening remake, whatever you'd like to call it.
There's going to be something for 3DS there, for sure. If they're still supporting it like they say they are, there's going to be something big for 3DS. Now, whether that's just them showing off the port of Luigi's Mansion again, I don't know. But I think there'll be something there for 3DS, 100%.
When do you think we're going to see any iteration of any next new consoles?
Not this year.
Yeah, not for a while.
Even handhelds?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Wasn't there something about a new place, not like a PlayStation Portable, an evolution of the Vita?
I think that's wrong.
There's definitely been like a patent or something that's gone through. I mean, it's super embryonic days.
There was a quote from someone from Sony recently. I can't for the life of me remember who it was, who have said that
was me. Yeah.
No, you're right, Mike. It was something like it's on the table because they're looking at what the Switch has done.
Yeah, and portable console gaming is back on sort of like you said, on the table for them.
Yeah.
Give me the Vita 2 with the L2 and R2 buttons and remove the back touchpad, and it'll be perfect.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's the perfect size. I know that.
I love playing. I've been playing our game for this week on the Vita, and
Segway!
I love. I much prefer playing that handheld than the Switch, just ergonomically.
Look at Dan.
I knew he'd do that.
Just in the. Yeah, I agree. I've been playing it on the Switch or on the Vita as well, simply because it's convenient. But I like the portability of it. It's the perfect RPG machine.
Yeah. That's why, Dan, you should get one and get Persona 4.
Yeah, but
I do really want to play a Persona 4.
Does Persona 4 come with it?
No, but it's always £4 on PSN.
It's what?
£4.
£4?
Yeah.
Get it? Is it Vita only?
Yeah.
Aww.
come on, Dan, you could pick up a Vita for next to nothing.
I don't have anything.
They still hold. They're still quite expensive secondhand over here. I mean,
As long as you get the actual
I see
OLED
them at
screen.
CEX, and they usually like the slim ones, the one without the OLED screen. They're still like £100 secondhand.
Yeah, I mean, you may as well not get one at that point, because if you've ever played one with the OLED screen, stepping off to the non-OLED it's rough.
But if you don't know the difference in the first place,
Yeah, but how would you
True.
feel knowing that you bought the inferior product? Consciously bought the worst product.
I just think that I'd save some money.
I don't know about that. I talked Tom pretty heavily into getting that one.
Yeah, even Kat got that one as well.
Yeah, see, it's just... Wait, Kat has a Vita too?
Yeah.
What?
We both have Vitas and
When did
Switches.
she get a Vita?
What?
About a year ago?
What?
What?
Yeah.
What? I gotta start transitioning my what into Dan. What?
Yeah, she
What?
plays...
Oh, is that what she plays
Tell-
that Shantae on?
No, that's the Switch. She plays like the Telltale games, Broken Age, that kind of stuff.
That kind of goods. So the Vita is one of the only systems you didn't sell off when you moved over.
The Vita and the Switch and the PSP and the original DS.
Oh, there you go. So you still got
I
something.
brought all my portables over and I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro yesterday.
One
Or
of
the
the
day before yesterday.
professional PlayStation. It took some serious convincing to get you to buy the Pro.
It did, because I thought, it's like it was $80 cheaper to get the original PS4, but then when I worked that out in real money, it was £46.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so £46 to get yourself better processing, better graphical display, a bigger hard drive.
Yeah,
I think it looks nicer as well. The actual console itself, like I think it just looks nicer.
it
It
does.
looks like a stack of pancakes.
I've
Yeah, but how
I-
tantalizing is a stack of pancakes?
Real tantalizing. You should see
Exactly.
me around pancakes.
Mike, I switched boost mode on and the super sampling.
Yep,
I think
that's the way to do it.
I've yet to play a game because I have to download on this Airbnb Wi-Fi.
God.
And I don't want to leave it running whilst we're doing the show, so I haven't played a game on it yet, so can't comment.
It's interesting to go into the settings and see what's available on the Pro versus non-Pro, because you can switch performance or resolution or balance.
Yeah,
Well, the example I gave to you to try and push you to get the Pro, on God of War, you can actually toggle this on the pause menu, so you can just switch it to the other setting at any time. But you can ask it to either favor performance or graphics. So obviously, if you favor graphics, it will be in 4K. If you favor performance, it's at 60 frames per second constantly.
It's just better in performance.
Yeah, I don't have a 4K TV, so I've obviously got it on performance. But I wanted to see what the difference was between having performance on and off, basically. So
yeah.
I went into
So-
the pause menu. I just had Kratos stood there and I circled the camera around him. Then turned it to graphics mode, where obviously the frames per second drops down. And just rotating the camera around him, you notice a major difference. And obviously that must be how it plays on a standard PS4. So even though I've not got a 4K TV, just for how great God of War looks in terms of its performance, I'm so glad I made the upgrade.
And
Nice.
to be honest, I've got from last year top of the line Sony TV with full array HDR and the whole gamut of stuff. It's not that much of a difference in terms of graphical prowess. The 60 frames per second, especially on a game like that, is definitely worth it. But the other tip too, once you buy it, turn the motion blur off. Just turn it all the way off. Makes the game far less jarring.
Turn what off, sorry?
You can turn motion blur.
Oh, okay.
There's a slider in the pause menu of God of War.
Okay, God of War.
It's real bad.
But, yeah. I don't know, didn't bother me. I turned that all the way off and didn't bother me. I just turned it back to as it was. But going back to the whole performance versus graphics thing, quite a few of the reviews I read for the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, they said that having it on graphics for the 4K, sure, looks amazing, but having it on performance, the movement of the colossi and the movement of your characters and everything like that, it almost looks real. And that's the best way to do that as well. And I am going to play that remake eventually, and having that graphic power behind it to have that performance on it, I'm really looking forward to. Like I said,
That actually
I'm
makes
so
me
glad
wonder,
I made...
Mike.
Go on.
Will we see more remakes this year at E3?
I don't know. I think we might see some of that Medieval remake.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Blue Point, who did Shadow of the Colossus, I think they did the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. They haven't announced anything yet as well.
Do you think we're going to see any more Shenmue?
Oh, God.
Do you think we'll see any more Shenmue 3?
I hope so.
Because that would be awesome. I loved those first two games.
I'd see some more Spyro.
Spider-Man.
I'm sold on that as well. I don't need to see any more Spyro.
No, me either.
Yeah, no way.
I actually had a bit of drama setting up my PS4 Pro. It took me ages to switch it on. Those buttons aren't very sensitive compared to the original model.
It's because they're actual buttons, not just sensors this time.
Yeah, but they're actually.
Is that? Were you just putting your finger near them, like hoping it would turn on?
I was pushing them. I was pushing it really hard. I was like, I don't really want to. Is this supposed to happen?
You know what? As a pet owner, that is one of the best things about the actual console itself, because there's been a couple of times where my cat walked past my old PS4, and obviously that little sensor was there, and she either like ejected the disc or just turned the power off. So having like actual physical buttons is great.
Yeah. And the cable, so the controller wouldn't pair because I was using a third-party USB cable.
I had that same issue.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid. Dan.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I just thought of one other game I want to see more of.
You?
Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Eric Peterson.
With the save! Michael Tyson.
You sly devil.
I know.
Putting that in
I forgot
at the last
about that.
moment.
They announced it ages ago and haven't said anything.
Yeah, we've got to see some of that, surely. I forgot that existed.
Well, initially, wasn't it supposed to be released in like the late half of 2017, and then some?
No, I don't think they ever did a release date.
I think it was. I remember seeing something about it.
I think you're talking shite again.
Oh, stranger with the release date.
Oh!
Sorry. I need to stop being so loud. My apologies.
Well, when did
You
New
do,
and
you're
Tasty
right.
come out? That was like
1986.
That was 2015. Yeah.
1986 again.
No, so here,
All comes full circle, Tom. I return the information.
Here, I found an article that originally said Oddworld Soulstorm planned for release in second half of 17. Now,
That doesn't mean it was going
well,
to.
I understand that.
Well, good. That means you're wrong. So shut up.
So shut your face. Currently
Shut
expected to
up.
release in 2019.
Yeah, time is nigh.
That's 4-year turnaround.
They churned out Abe's Exodus in like a year. So what are they doing?
They're going to just obviously be using the same engine from New and Tasty. And they're just rebuilding a game that already existed. They should have been able to do this in a weekend. Huh?
It could surprise you, and it could be open world and games as a service.
No, Jesus. With Battle Royale?
Yes.
Oddworld Battle Royale. Mullix versus Gluckins. Go.
I'd buy it.
I'd buy that for $1.
As long as the commentator is just one of the chickens from Stranger's Wrath. Oh! Oh!
Oh, the Gluckins are killing the slags.
Oh, Abe, welcome back! Fries.
Could we just talk about how obnoxious those esports commentators were yesterday
Oh,
on
bad.
EA's conference?
Jesus
And then to
Christ.
find out that game they were talking about was a Command and Conquer game.
On phones.
So when they came out and sat down, first of all, they were announcing these people like they're heavyweight wrestlers, and there's just this smattering of like hands lightly touching together in the audience. People like, okay, what's going on? And then they sit in a chair and pick up phones. I couldn't believe it was real.
Possibly the biggest fail of E3 so far.
Besides Andrea.
Leave Andrew alone.
Yeah, I won't get into that.
Oh, this is Rupture Farms.
Ow!
Poor Andrea.
Do you still make that voice for Kat every once in a while when she's feeling down?
Yeah. It's the only way to get her to smile.
He uses it in the bedroom.
Oh, so that's where this goes.
Oh, God.
Oh, stranger, take off your clothes.
Oh, the left hand, that's called the stranger. Sorry, that got a little dark.
Standard.
Gotta just take off my pants.
I am going to take off my pants.
Got any moolah down there?
Gots to give me some blowjobs.
Has Lee any pants on?
Oh, God. Guys, any other E3 predictions?
I predict E3 this year, you will still be an idiot.
Oh!
That's
That's
it.
it.
End the show there.
Do you think
Yep,
we're going to
that's what we
finally
don't-
see the official port of Mother 3 that people have been bitching about for 20 years?
Nah. Oh,
I personally-
Nintendo 64 Classic.
I do not care.
What? Dan?
Oh yeah, N64 Classic. Good call.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah,
Yarp.
yeah, yar,
Yarp.
yar. Minus most of the games due to licensing issues.
No. Do you not remember what? Well, you weren't on the show, but on the Donkey Kong Country show that me and Eric did, I said about how we were banging on that Rare couldn't be on there, but
Yep.
Donkey Kong Country 1 is on the SNES Classic, and that's by Rare.
Yeah, who knows?
God, do you even listen to the show? Good.
No. No. No, very dull. Very loud. Very loud. Too loud for my tastes.
One star out of 5, loud.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Has he got any snap?
Oh, man, I just saw a picture from 6 years ago when I was at E3 with Ben Schrader and Aaron Robinson standing outside the Sony conference.
It's not the one where you're pissing then.
What?
There's one of you, I'm sure there's one of you from like E3 where like the photo of you're pissing in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I took a selfie of me peeing with Ben in the background.
Excellent.
Tragedy.
No, you can't see anything, Dan. Just settle down.
It's alright, I've got many pictures you've sent me over the years.
Don't leak them.
Something was leaking.
I think it's time, guys. I think it's time
For what?
that we do this thing.
Do what thing?
I don't know what you mean exactly.
Go on.
I don't know. I was hoping you guys would have something we could do.
Before we go on, look, I mentioned this before the show. Why do we keep doing big Final Fantasy games during E3?
Segway! Do we? Did we do Final Fantasy VII last year at E3?
Yeah, and we ended up having to record because that was when we were still doing GDVP, and we had to record our E3 roundup show and then do a Final Fantasy VII disc.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a rough show. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Final Fantasy, and then did we do Final Fantasy VIII around an E3 as well?
No idea. I wasn't.
I'm looking. No, nope.
You're a gluckin.
I'm a gluckin. Wow, we have a lot of episodes. No, we did not.
Yeah, let's stop.
Next year, Final Fantasy X.
Yes.
No.
Final Fantasy XI.
Yes.
No, I think it's time
Final
we move
Fantasy
on.
6.
We already did 6. Well, you guys didn't, but yeah, we could revisit 6. Guys,
Yeah, it's on the SNES Classic.
guys.
Yes.
Go on.
I think it's time that we do this that people have been asking for a long time.
All right.
Factory sealed plaques.
No.
All right. The pants are off.
Okay, mine have been off.
I wasn't wearing any.
Mine have been around my ankles since we started.
That's what that dripping noise was. What?
Which I did not need.
That's the line? That is the line.
Did you guys hear that? There was a door just slammed really loudly in my house. I hope Hazel's not being murdered.
I guess you'll find out in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's time. We are going to tackle Final Fantasy IX.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute him.
Mike, you being too loud. Shut up.
Sorry.
I do have to commend you on your ability to keep your volume at about an 8 this show. Way to go.
Yeah, well, I've learned my lesson, haven't I?
Yeah, that review really must have hit home.
That was personal, that was. So to give some context to this, we got a review recently that essentially says, listen up until Mike is on the show and then stop listening. Because I scream and shout too much.
And that was a guy that had been listening for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have posted that one. I do apologise.
Are you gamer, Grandpa?
Damn right.
I blame Dan because I think I'm getting the blame for the Argos incident when it was actually him.
I think you started it, and then I just went with it afterwards. So, yeah, you bullied me into it.
That's bullshit.
I saved this show. Anyway, we are doing Final Fantasy 9.
What was that?
Final Fantasy, no.
Dan,
Final
what
Fantasy,
was
no.
that?
9.
We're doing Final Fantasy 9.
Hett talk.
They just kind of get together and dribble. Hett.
I like the Dane.
I saved this show.
Oh, God. Yes, so we're going to do this in 4 parts. So this will be 2 months worth of our show.
If you don't like Final Fantasy,
Skip
you're
it!
probably not going to like these shows.
I don't know. I think
we've
we're
had
going
a lot
to
of
be...
people into this.
I think we're going to be insightful. Possibly. Maybe. Not likely.
Yeah, I'm going to be insightful.
So in case you don't know, this is the 9th entry of Final Fantasy. Hence the name.
Oh, you think?
Final I'm just being factual.
Christ.
What?
You're such an idiot.
I'm on your side, Eric, because when you get further in the series and you have things like 10-2 and then Final Fantasy 13-2 and all that shit.
Yeah, because 10-2 is the 11th entry in the series, and then 11th is the 12th, and 12th is the 13th. Come on, Dan. People out there don't know. We're here to give them facts, hence the name Factory Sealed.
Oh, right. It works on multiple levels.
Yes. Factory sealed.
It's the 9th one.
Actually, it's probably not the 9th.
I know, right?
No,
Because-
it's Tactics as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
So
I
it's
don't
at
know when
least that.
Tactics came out, so...
It was after 7, but before 8.
And Dirge of Cerberus.
I like Dirge of Cerberus.
Crisis Core.
Oh, Christ, Tactics did come out earlier. This is the 10th entry. Hence
Oh.
the name 9.
No. Mystic Quest.
Oh, shit, it's the 11th.
I think you'll find it's called IX, actually.
Ix. Final Fantasy Ix.
One Kiss.
One kiss. That's wrong.
Fair
Tom.
enough,
That is
Frank,
definitely wrong.
Oh, that's the line.
That's the line. So
Also, unlike the title kind of gives you the idea of, it's not the final one.
but it is a fantasy. So it's half right. Actually, no, it's only a third right because the 9 is wrong and the final is wrong. Are we really spending our time dissecting the title of the game?
This is going to be a long one.
Every so often, one of those realizations sets in like, holy shit, we're doing this.
We've just spent 5 minutes.
Talking about the name of the game.
This is going to be a long show.
So we're going to go through this game unlike a lot of the games that we go through in the past. We're actually going to go through this game sequentially, not scene by scene, but we will tell Dan to shut up when he drifts into disc 2, 3, and 4 because he is an impatient dude and has just soldiered on.
I can't. This game is just so good. I can't stop. It's just,
Some chocobos.
yes, I will talk about this at length.
Not this show because that shit ain't in here.
I'm afraid it is on disc 1.
No, it's
It
not.
is, yeah.
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
I've
Disc one.
done all that you can do.
I didn't do any of it because I didn't see it.
No, you are a fool.
Well,
How did you not see it? There's a bit where you have to look through a telescope and have to identify it before you go onto the world map.
No, that's later on.
That is on disc 1, though, yeah, but I mean, he said he missed it. Like, how could you miss the forest? You have to identify where it is before you... Anyway, we'll get there later.
spoilers, I missed it.
I missed it.
Okay, so let's talk about this game here. Released July 7th, 2000 on the original
It's
PlayStation.
the 9th one.
It's not. We covered that. Rewind 3 minutes and you'll see where it really falls in the timeline. It's probably closer to like the 14th.
It's so easy to lull into it again.
Oh my god.
Welcome back, Tom. Have you missed us?
Come on already. I'm getting hungry.
Well, you got
Sorry,
like,
Eric. When was it released?
July 7th, 2000.
Oh.
So the same year the PS2 came out. It's kind of
Well-
the swan song.
Interesting fact. Apparently,
Oh, God.
Final Fantasy IX
Butterflies.
No. Apparently, Final Fantasy IX remake for PlayStation 2 had been considered by Square in early 2001, which is
What?
only a year after it was released, obviously. Then obviously it was scrapped or never even started at all.
Good.
Bastards.
Yeah, but then people would have bitched about the remake of the remake for years to come. It's just better to leave it alone. So this one actually kind of hit home with me when it first came out because I liked 7 and I liked 8 for what they had done for the series, but to me Final Fantasy had always been about knights and politics and this medieval setting. And when this game came out and it was kind of going back to that, for me it was kind of the series taking the best of what's new and meshing it with the best of what was old.
See, that's not the case for me because the first one I ever played was 7, and then 8, and then 9. So it was really jarring for me to go back from that kind of technological future to go to this medieval setting.
I was exactly the same.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And actually,
So-
what's interesting is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on Final Fantasy IX, it was the first of the modern Final Fantasies where you could have 4 in your party. And like
Yes.
to go back, it's like a throwback to the old ones where you could have 4 as well.
Yeah.
Remember that blowing my mind as a child?
Yeah, same.
Well, the entire game itself
4?
is...
I could only count to 3 before this.
This is mind blowing.
Mom, why did you tell me there was anything after 3?
The game itself, anyway, it was intended to be a salute to the history of the series. There are like a metric fuck ton of like references to old Final Fantasies and stuff like that. I have collated a few of them as we go through, like some of the more interesting ones. So as we go through, if there's any that like I bring up that might be quite interesting, I will let you guys know. But the entire thing, yeah, it was a swan song on the PlayStation, and then a salute to the series. But did you guys know that this was actually produced at the same time as Final Fantasy X and 11?
Is that back when Square Enix would actually do stuff?
Yeah, it was announced in tandem with Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XI at the Square Millennium event. They were developed simultaneously with the goal of providing players 3 distinct experiences: a retro RPG in 9, a smooth evolution in style and design 10, and an online experience in 11. They basically developed the game with development sites split between Japan and Hawaii.
Wow.
I'm going to assume that 10 was developed in Hawaii.
Maybe, yeah.
I would assume that.
See them playing some Blitzball.
Yeah. Fuck that game.
Laughing at each other.
That's how they laugh in Hawaii. So, yeah, let's dive into it. No! Don't start that.
Dun 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 dun.
Dancey.
Yeah. So, where do we want to start?
The start.
At the beginning.
I guess.
So the
I
game
don't
fades
actually
in,
remember
and
the-
there's a title screen, and you have 3 options.
2.
Is that where?
No, you have 2.
Well,
Oh, shit.
I played the remaster on the PS4, and there's another option to change it in the bottom corner to change the language.
I'm not doing this.
and there's also choices between English UK and English
God,
US.
I'm going to be here all day.
I had to change to UK so that I could have all my extra U's in things like colour and favour.
Did you know that
Devour.
Final Fantasy IX holds the highest Final Fantasy Metacritic score of the series?
Really?
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should have remade that then.
I know.
There are also 2 different fonts on the main menu screen. Which is quite cool, I think. The sound that the cursor makes when you move between options is really similar to the previous 2 games, but it's slightly higher pitched.
I really like the kind of black border it's got going on around the title screen.
I'm surprised you have a black border, because don't you stretch all these things to high hell so they fit your screen?
God, Dan, why?
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, I think
Images
everybody...
we see of your TV when
it's
you
gotta be
play
done.
these games.
No. Everybody in the world needs to understand how Dan plays old
Fucking
games modernly.
horrible.
It's nice.
It is...
I like it.
It is
nice.
a travesty.
It's beautiful.
No, it is not.
It is. It's great. I love it.
Anytime that Dan plays a modern game or an old game on a modern TV, he goes, "Let's stretch this shit to fit width and height so everything looks like trash."
Oh my god. Like, it makes me want to drive to your house and change your TV settings.
No, I've told him to change it when we've played PS2 games.
It's not happening.
He won't. Like, the next time you upload a picture, I'm just going to get in my car, come to Hett, knock on any of the 3 doors to find out which one's your house.
Make sure you pull up one of the Hett happenings so you know how to get into the town. So I sent you guys a picture of, I think I sent it, maybe I was going to, but of how it looks on the Vita in its original proportions, and it's small. Like, there's a good 40% of the screen that's just not used, and then I stretched it to fit, and it just looks like shit.
It looks like shit when it's got huge black borders around it.
But it's the correct aspect.
I don't care. It really doesn't bother me.
Oh man, like, it gives me anxiety knowing that you're playing a game like that.
Good. That's what we like. I'm only doing it now to piss you off.
Oh, I'm going to have an inferior experience just to piss you off.
Correct. I'm stubborn like that.
Such a fucking English thing to do.
So
It really is.
just note, anytime Dan complains in these next 4 shows about how something looks, remember that he's playing it on an actual pile of garbage.
Hey, I think this looks great.
Vivi is 1,000 pixels wide and 2 pixels tall.
It looks
he's
fine.
massive.
It does not.
Right, should we move on? Because
Yeah.
this is killing me.
My blood pressure just went up thinking about Dan playing this game.
Okay, so the start of the game, we're opened with like a scene of like a boat on, like within a tempest on the sea, and within there you see 2 characters. They're hooded over, but you then see that the hood comes back, and you see one of the main characters, Garnet, and then it flips to her in a castle, which you can see that basically she's having a nightmare, and she is the princess of Alexandria, a beautiful castle town.
I really like the lighthearted start of this game. A lot of the other Final Fantasies, they start off and it's really heavy, it's really emotional, and this was just kind of, hey, this is the world, it's lighthearted, it's fun, it's goofy. The first player you really take over is this chubby little short black mage that...
No, it isn't.
No, you got Zidane on the Prima Vista first.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You have to light a candle.
No, you're right.
And I believe you can also find some items in that room if you don't like the candle.
You sure can.
Cut the portions.
I couldn't see where they were. It was too stretched.
For fuck's sake. But yeah, then you see, when it cuts around the image of the castle, you then see this flying airship. You find it's called the Prima Vista, and that's heading towards Alexandria. And you go in there, and you're introduced to the main character, which is Zidane, who is a blonde monkey boy.
I thought he was called Tom.
Mine was Tom.
He is Tom.
Monkey Tom.
Have you guys seen one of our listeners on the group is playing Final Fantasy VIII, and he's called Squall Jeeves
in all caps?
I love it.
God.
Quite a few people have threatened to rename the main character and others Tom or other Tom or Yom.
And then I put Girl Tom.
Girl Tom.
Yeah. No, so you're right. So you start off on the Prima Vista. You're this blonde-haired monkey boy that it's kind of an interesting choice for a main character, but he's part of this bandit group called Tantalus, and they are aboard a theater ship with the goal of going and presenting this play, I Want to Be Your Canary, and the ultimate goal is to distract the queen enough so that they can kidnap Princess Garnet.
Yeah, which the idea of them going in is obviously the theatre ship goes in, they do the performance, and they are going to kidnap the princess at the same time. This is one of the callbacks to one of the older games that they have. So in Final Fantasy VI, there's a plot point of kidnapping a female protagonist via theatrical production. I've not played 6. Is it Celis is to be kidnapped by Setzer via an airship?
The opera house.
Yeah,
the
Maria
opera
and
house,
Draco.
Yeah. So that's one of the initial callbacks straight away to one of the older games.
Yeah.
Get some new ideas, Squeenix.
Woo.
I feel like there'd probably be easier ways to steal a princess.
Yeah, like she could want to be kidnapped. Spoiler. So after that, they give you kind of the rundown, and then it flips over to the Prima Vista coming in. And airships are a huge part of this game, which when we get to the world map a little bit later, like you can really tell that that's the main focal point of the type of technology in this world. Whereas older Final Fantasy games, the airship was the one thing that you get down the road that's like, man, I can't wait till I get that airship and I can travel around. And here they kind of make that the center focus of it. And like the introduction scene, you see the Prima Vista flying over the city and the town kind of going crazy because this is the one big event a year that everybody gets together about. And that's when you flip over taking control of Vivi. and he's this happy-go-lucky little black mage who's got this ticket to go see I Want to Be Your Canary.
When we're saying airships as well, I mean, when I think of Final Fantasy airships, I think of things like the High Wind and the Ragnarok in Final Fantasy VIII as well, where they're
such a cool
they're
actual
industrial
airplanes.
kind of they're mechanical and things like that. Whereas the airships in this, they're like kind of old school wooden ships.
And that's what I think of when I think of airship in Final Fantasy. Like the very first one looks like it was just an old pirate boat that just now has propellers and can fly around. That's an airship to me.
Yeah,
it's a ship, Mike, a ship in the air, airship.
and there's
The High Wind is an airship.
no,
That's
but it's not a ship.
Yeah.
It's a plane.
That's a funny looking plane.
It's
Doesn't
not
have wings.
it's not a boat though, and a boat is a ship in the air, so they call them airships.
Do you think they have air punting?
Well, they need a really long stick for that.
actually
Do they have airy rounders?
Shut up.
you're right that the airships are a talking point in Final Fantasy IX, because even if you speak to random NPCs in the game, there's a lot of talk about how the ships are powered with mist, but there's another guy who's developing a ship that can fly without the need for mist.
Run off of steam.
Run off of steam, yeah. So it's like kind of
Orville
bit of
and
an industrial revolution.
Wilbur should have given that a go. Yeah.
Can we just talk about how much VV falls over towards the start?
I mean, he has got a big hat.
yeah,
But he falls
weighs him
over
down.
all the time.
This was a really jarring thing for me, though, because black mages in the original Final Fantasies for me were always like the real badasses. I always perceived them as just these really mysterious, intimidating characters, and then you get Vivi, and he's like this goofy, really insecure kid.
He's just shy, isn't he?
Yeah.
And quite innocent. And
Well, Mike, you made
a really
a-
likable character.
You made a comment about this in our chat, and I think that this will be something that continually comes up throughout the conversation, is that the characterization in this game is next to none. It is stellar. Everybody has their defined character sheet, and they follow that to a T, and the way that they present themselves and their dialogue fits that mold perfectly. It just the game does such a wonderful job of really making you feel like each character is completely unique.
Now bear in mind, I kind of mentioned that on the back of me never actually completing this game. So I've never actually completed any of the characters' stories because I've never reached the end of it. So for me to kind of bring that up,
How far did you get in the
what I've
past,
seen-
Mike?
Definitely on the third disc. I know the furthest I've ever got is the earliest you can face Ozma. I know that, so I haven't. That's quite near the end. I know Ozma's one of the optional bosses, but I can't remember exactly where that is in the story.
I think it's about where I am. But I'm not allowed to speak about that.
Yeah, shut up.
But yeah, VV's in town is there to see the play.
And he runs up to hand him his ticket, discovers it's a fake. And,
It's made out of some sort of cracker.
Yeah. And kind of gets really depressed about it and comes across a guy in the back alley named Jack?
No.
Alleyway Jack.
Alleyway Jack, yeah, see? I was right.
Yeah, Alleyway Jack is not the guy you're thinking of, though.
Yeah. You're thinking of Puck, but you don't know
Oh,
his name at
Puck,
this
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vivi's still destined to want to go see this show, and he tries to find a way to do that.
Basically, he agrees to be the slave of this rat boy who
Yeah.
steals
Yeah.
a ladder, and then they go into a church, and a Moogle falls on their head.
I love the Moogles in this game.
I love the Moogles in this game as well.
Yeah.
This also is the section where it introduces Mognet, which is the letter system between Moogles.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys bother with this, but I always do it.
Oh, I love
Yeah, I
Magnet.
do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so cute.
It's interesting, though, to actually advance it sometimes, because if you go to Mognet and they'll say, oh, you've got a letter from this person, you can read it and then back out, and to find out if that person or that Moogle has a letter for another one, you have to go back into Mognet and hit cancel, and then they go, oh, I have a letter
Yeah.
to give to this person.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to, and yeah, it's a bit strange.
So the Moogles in the series they first appeared in Final Fantasy III for the NES in Japan, and then as they are in their current form was Final Fantasy V with like the little pom-pom on top of their head. But they never played a really huge role throughout the series. They're kind of a focal point in this game. Like there's a main Moogle named Stiltskin who you keep coming across who's this world traveler and provides you with all this information. So they are actually integral to the world, whereas in the past...
Well, something we haven't brought up about the world in Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't brought up about the world in Final Fantasy IX in terms of its fantastical nature as well. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, it's basically the human race. There is the odd characters who aren't human, so like in Final Fantasy VIII, there's the Shumai tribe and things like that. But here, there's all these kind of humanoid animals as well. So there are humans, but then someone might be like a human type bird or
hippo.
There's hippos and all things like that.
It's kind of a variation of Ivalice, isn't it?
Final Fantasy 12, Mike.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I've not played 12.
Or Tactics.
Yeah.
No, come on, Mike, get with it. Do you even Final Fantasy?
Some of them, yes.
Yeah. The I Kiss one. So yeah, the Vivi meets Puck, becomes his slave, follows him up onto the roof.
I always love that line where Puck asks for... It's before you know Puck's name. He asks for Vivi's name. And he goes, oh yeah, you name Vivi? And he goes, oh, Vivi, that's a strange name. My name's Puck.
Maybe that's a normal
not one to
name.
judge, are you, Puck, really?
Yeah. So are we going to agree that that's how you pronounce Vivi's name?
That's how I always say it.
I always thought it was.
So what's really strange is that my daughter, her best friend's name is Vivi, spelled the same way.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh.
Well, it's short for Viviana.
Again,
but-
why?
What do you mean, why?
What a
It's a
strange name.
It's not a strange name. It's a normal
Wait.
name.
How do they pronounce it, sorry?
Vivi.
Vivi, and it's short for Viviana. Well, that kind of makes sense if it's short for something.
Yeah. But that threw me for that. Like when I first saw her name written out, I'm like, oh, that's Vivi.
Yeah, it's Vivi.
How about Vivi?
Yeah. I was going to say bye-bye.
Gotta get my Vivis.
Chicken nuggets and Vivis.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye,
guys.
Yeah, so we got a lot to get through here. Let's keep this moving.
There's actually a call out to another game with Puck as well. According to PlayStation Magazine
Hockey.
interview. Yeah, no. According to
NHL
PlayStation Magazine
97.
interview years ago, with a localization director. The opening sequence of Alexandria, Puck says, engage according to mission parameters, and it's a reference to the PC game Unreal Tournament.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
I prefer hockey.
Well, shit.
Well, I'll be shitting you.
You gotta be fisting me.
No thanks.
Damn it. Okay.
So yeah, they get up onto a rooftop and then get into where the nobles are, the rich people, to watch the show.
I think one thing that's important to note is that the PlayStation 1 era Final Fantasy games were well known
Stellar.
for their cinematics, and this game is no different. And how seamlessly it flips between them. Like you're up on the roof, and then it flips into cinematic mode, and you see the Prima Vista come sailing over, and the townspeople are running towards this to get ready for the show, and Vivi and Puck are running along the tops of the buildings. It's really neat. And that's the title screen.
Yes, which says Final Fantasy 9 because it's the 9th one.
Well, we'll go with that.
Is it then that we control Zidane and the... No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
we
it
move back
switches over
Zidane.
to the actual player after that.
Yeah.
It is. Well, you see Queen Braun there ready for the show, and obviously you see Steiner up there, and they start the show. Steiner moves his sword for them to start the show, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And that's when they start acting it out, and then there's a start.
Can we just say about Steiner's face in that cinematic? It's hilarious. Did anybody notice?
No.
Because Garnet is looking depressed, and things.
Oh.
And then he looks towards her once, and then kind of he has some concern on his face. And then he looks away again. Then he looks at her again, and his mouth just drops off, and you can see him in the background because the camera pans back to Garnet. You can just see him in the background with his mouth open. It just looks funny as.
Do you not think he's got like a bit of a Buzz Lightyear quality?
Yes,
Yeah.
I always thought I had a bit of a meathead friend when I was younger, and I always thought he looked like him.
See, I used to hate Steiner when I played this when I was younger. I used to hate Steiner. One of my friends who, when he used to play Final Fantasy games, he used to always call himself the main character. And out of the three of us, I was the tallest one of us.
Was he called Tom?
No. As soon as he got like a big character, he'd name him Tyson. So I was always Barrett in his games. And
Yes.
then when we got to and then our other friend who was blonde, he'd ended up getting called Martin because like he'd do that. So when we got to Final Fantasy 9, he met Steiner, who was the first bigger character, and he always fucking named Steiner Tyson, and I was really pissed off.
I don't know. I think I agree. I hated Steiner as a kid because he was this characterization
the way.
of a responsible adult.
Yeah.
And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, Steiner's got a point.
Yeah.
I think Steiner's journey throughout is kind of how he comes away from that character. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lives in a little bit of a bubble in the castle, and his whole as a knight, his whole job is
His
to protect
duty.
the princess and
Is
at all
blindly
costs.
follow orders
Yeah.
at all times, basically.
It's kind of his journey of self-recognition and understanding that,
But he has a weird affinity towards Vivi.
he does, kind of like a
Because-
father figure.
He's like Master Vivi, and he thinks he's splendid and all this kind of stuff.
Well, which
but
is
he-
interesting because this game too is also, as much as it is about the political misgivings of Alexandria and their desire to start a war, there are a lot of really important stories that are happening at the same time, and this game is as much about that as it is about the story of Vivi, at least the way that I see this, because his story is the most powerful and impactful of all of the side quest characters.
Who, Vivi?
Yeah.
I don't know,
yeah,
man. Queen
I
is pretty
would say
deep.
so.
Nah.
I have not met Queenie yet.
She's not. Really? You didn't get Queener before the end of Disc 1?
No?
What? Tom, you literally had to walk by the question mark grotto. How could you miss it? You had to look through the telescope and find it.
That sounds just like me.
What? I didn't realise she was an optional character.
No, you have to get them eventually.
You can
but
get it
you
right
get
away.
on disc 1.
Yeah.
No wonder I found a fork and it couldn't be equipped to anyone.
But I'm not hungry.
Oh, wow, I didn't get her.
Yeah. Well, it's not a her,
Him.
It's a he, she.
Gender neutral creature.
which is
Oh,
odd,
yes,
though, because
yes.
they go to lengths to say in the text he, she, but in that same sentence they use he.
Yeah, I know.
See,
Or
I've
his.
always referred to Quinner as he. I don't know why. It's
I've
just
always
what-
thought
I
it was
always
a
think
girl.
it looks more like a girl, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
So anyway, back
And
to
the
where
big-
we're at in the story, with the play taking off, and
They get to a fight scene in it where Zidane and Blank, who's another part of the thief group, they do like a show where they do like a sword fight, and you have to have a mini game there where you have to press the right directions.
I always hated this.
I love it. I think it's really fun.
Oh, I love it.
I only learned on this playthrough because every time I've ever played this, I've only ever been able to get 99 out of 100 nobles impressed. I didn't realize you actually could get 100. The other thing I learned was that if you actually get 100 on the first go, you get 10,000 gil. And apparently, because it's at random, but apparently the first time you play it, the sequence is always the same.
Interesting.
Just changes the other times, which I
I have
didn't
an
know.
interesting fact for you as well, Michael. Did you know that on the remake which you played, they've made it easier?
Yes, I heard that. And I did manage to get 100 this time for the first time ever. I didn't get it on the first go.
How do you get 100? I didn't miss a single
You have to
one.
press
I got...
it immediately.
Yeah, has to be fast.
It's all
Oh,
time
Speaking of mini games, who had to go at the jump rope?
I made it to one.
in the square with Vivi.
Yes.
I got to
made it
64.
Wow.
So I got to 1,000
18.
and something by cheating.
The fact that there's actually a trophy on the PS4 version for getting that is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the trophy is to get 1,000 jumps, which you have to get 1,000 jumps to get the final reward on it, which is like it's not worth getting anyway. But I looked into this online. Like I was like, what's an easier way to do this? I jumped into the rabbit hole to see what's an easy way of doing the actual jump rope mini game, and upon googling, I found out that there's an actual way to let it do it automatically. And I thought, you know what, for conversational reasons on the show, I thought, you know what, I'll give this a go and set it up. So what you essentially do is you go onto your computer and use PS4 Remote Play to obviously play your PS4 remotely, and using auto hotkey, someone's actually created an auto script to get over 1,000 jumps for you. So you literally set it all up, press a button, and it does it for you. I sat there and just watched it do like 1,000, I think it was like 1,600 something jumps I got originally. So I ended up getting the trophy on it. But it was just a very interesting way. The fact that someone has gone to that effort to get that is mental.
Oh, it's a ball ache and a half trying to get it though, isn't it? So, I mean, I hate the side quest on Final Fantasy X where you have to avoid the lightning strikes. I can't do it. I've never managed to do it.
There's a bit of a secret to that, which we'll get to when we do Final Fantasy X, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yes.
No spoilers.
I've tried this secret many times, but I always fail. And when I get just before I get there, and it really annoys me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after that fight scene, they end up.
Eric.
What?
Before you go into that, can we talk about the card game? Did anybody start playing the card game at this point?
Yeah, played a few.
I have not done one.
I was getting quite into it.
Not one game.
Not one. It's
Wow, you really do your research for this show, don't you?
No, I've played this a handful of times before, and it's just one of those card games. It's not like Triple Triad. Triple Triad, I lose myself in every time I play 8. This one, I just don't understand it.
There's no rewards to it either. Like 8, you could get all the cards, and then you could get an ability later on to change them into rare items and things like that. There's no reward for this.
No.
The reward is it's fun, alright?
It's not fun.
You get to play a thing later on where you get rewards. It's a card tournament.
Oh, in Trino?
Yes.
The interesting part of the remaster is when you go up towards characters, you obviously you get the exclamation mark normally to talk to them. All of the characters that you can play cards with, instead of just trying random people and pressing square, another speech bubble comes beside it with a picture of a card for you to just, who you can play and who you can't play, which saves a hell of a lot of time. I thought that was a nice addition.
Oh.
How kind of them.
Quality of life and all that jazz.
Yeah. Along with the speed up and
I don't understand. I've played this card game a million times over the years, and I still don't understand how it works. It's really complicated. And
yeah,
the
Triple
in-game
Triad's easy as
explanations
hell.
What?
Triple Triad is easy. The numbers make sense. This one beats that one, and this element beats that element. This one,
But there's
no
in-game
rhyme.
tutorials which say the cards have numbers on. Try and figure out what they are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Thanks,
difficult to
guys.
understand.
It is.
Oh, please
It's-
indulge
Right.
us.
The short version of it, basically, the first digit is the attack power. Okay, so if it's 1, you have an attack power of 1. The letter, the ones you start off with is a P or an M, and which I'll get to in a second. And then the third letter is your power defense, and the fourth one is your magic defense. So the P and the M, when you use your attack power, it's either power or magic, and then it goes against the defense of the card's power or magic defense. It's not that hard
You've
to figure
lost
out.
me already, mate.
It's not that hard to figure out. And then there's some other letters later on.
Are
which
you
I can't
saying that
remember.
we're idiots?
Yes.
Good point.
Thanks.
I think I've heard that from someone else once before.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think it was me in the WhatsApp chat.
Ah. It's one of those takes one to know one scenarios.
Great.
Kind.
So yeah, anyway, Zidane and Blank get into the castle, disguise themselves as two of Steiner's knights.
Knights of Pluto.
Knights of Pluto, and go to kidnap the princess. But then she comes running out, dressed as a white mage from the old games. And
It's a good throwback.
Yeah, it is. And then she basically asks to be kidnapped before they even attempt to.
No, she runs away.
Yeah, she runs away.
Yeah,
and you have
you're
to go
right.
find her.
Yeah. And Blank
Yeah.
doesn't realize who it is at first, and then you go chasing after her. And then that's when you take control of Steiner, isn't it?
So can we get this conversation out of the way first in regard to Zidane's characterization. I understand this game came out in the mid to late 90s, but his character would not fly in any modern game these days.
Nah.
Zidane?
Yeah. He is...
He's womanizing.
To the point of being almost offensive. And
yeah, he says something along the lines. He looks in the hood and he's like, "Oh, haven't we met before?" And starts like really heavily flirting with her. And then there's that bit later on where he's following up a ladder and he puts his hand on her arms.
Oh, yeah.
And he's, ooh, soft.
Yeah, it's a interesting characterization. Like every single girl that he comes across, he thinks nothing of her except what are my chances with her. And he even makes a comment to Vivi about girls and asks Vivi if he ever thinks about girls. And he's like, well, I guess I never really thought about it. And his comment to Vivi is, well, I never stopped thinking about it.
At the same time, though, I think it's a bit of a deflection technique because as you follow the storyline on further, you understand more about Zidane's past and why he does it.
I also think that it was kind of a contrasting thing as well, because I think a lot of people did complain about the fact that both Cloud and especially Squall they were very introverted, weren't they? And quite moody, and Squall gets accused of being emo all the time. And Zidane, yeah, he's got the kind of rapey things aside, he's quite happy-go-lucky, isn't he? And I think that was to contrast against those. It doesn't justify it. It doesn't justify it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's just it's a little heavy-handed at times. But
like his hand on his arse.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go chasing after, and that's when Steiner. You go control Steiner, and that's when the Queen realizes that that Princess Garnet has gone, and he basically goes to go and find her. And then you have to do a really annoying bit where you have to find the Knights of Pluto. And they're in various parts.
You don't have to find them.
No, well, you get an item, don't you? I think. What do you get? You get an item if you find them all.
I think it's an elixir.
An elixir. But essentially, you just have to go up to a tower, and you get to the top of this tower, and you see Zidane chasing Garnet around the other tower.
Did anybody find Queena in the kitchen?
I don't think it's Queena.
It is Queena.
I always say.
Oh no.
I don't think
she lives nearby, so why not?
I don't
know. I don't think it is either.
It is.
No, she doesn't live nearby. She's on the other side of the gate.
Oh, there's airships.
We're not just gonna fly her in for that. I think it's another one of the coup d'etat.
The coup.
Yeah. So anyway, struggle ensues.
Here, Final Fantasy Wikia. Queena works in Alexandria Castle, overseeing the chef's every move and tasting most of their dishes.
False.
Well, if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Well, I'm going to make an article right now that says it's not Queena, and then I'll send you a link.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So,
Garnet jumps off the tower.
Garnet jumps off the tower. I like this cutscene. This one's pretty neat because it shows how dedicated Steiner is to his cause, and the length.
I love how he looks so determined, and then he just smashes into the wall. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. You end up on Tantalus. The show is still going on.
Tantalus is the group, my friend.
Yeah, you end up on the Prima Vista, and Steiner's chasing you. You get into this room that there's no way out of it except to stand on these lifts that take you up onto the stage, and it kind of throws this wrench into the show, and Zidane and Garnet just start improvising, and Steiner has no idea where he's at and what's going on around him, and they improvise the story, then changes it completely, and Braun goes crazy over the fact that this is the new version of the show, and yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you're fighting Baku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The I mentioned this before, that how it always put back on the PS1. This always put me off this game with how slow it felt, and I don't know whether it was an intentional thing or whether it was the PS1 dealing with, the better graphics and having 4 characters. But playing the PS4 remaster, it feels like 7 and 8 again. It doesn't feel so slow paced. And
it is slow. I think it's
fixed this game for me.
From the time you would start a random encounter till the time you're controlling your character is like 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it's long. But what's really cool though, when you transition into that, the first few seconds of the battle music is directly pulled from the first Final Fantasy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be the exact same, but it's like Mike was saying, there's a lot of homages to other Final Fantasies, and it definitely draws that first game's battle music in.
I really like the ability attachments. I totally forgot all about it, but I like that you can. It's really simple. It's much more simplified. Even though I loved 8's battle system, it is a nice one.
Being the naive idiot I was, because when I first played this back when I was a teenager, just once, I didn't enjoy this that much for various reasons, and a lot of it was obviously the old school Final Fantasy stuff. Me only knowing 7 and 8, and one of the callbacks in this game to the older ones is it's almost like the job system. 7 and 8, you almost have like blank slates of characters that you can customize however you want. Whereas when you start playing this, obviously you've got Vivi who's the Black Mage, you've got Zidane who's the thief, and Steiner who's obviously the warrior, and all things like that. And when I first started playing this, I didn't like that. I was like, well, I want to customize the characters how I want. Let me play.
See, I liked it though, because it required a little bit of forethought on your
part. I like
part.
it now, but at the time, because I wasn't used to that, I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Well, in the old games like 7 and 8, anybody could essentially be any class. Now you have to structure your party accordingly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
I love it now.
class-based.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely great. I think after I finished Disc 1, since we're talking about the battle system, I felt like in the grand scheme of things, there wasn't a whole lot of combat in Disc 1.
No, there isn't really.
I finished Disc 1 at level 11.
Oh, I'm like
I also
30s.
found it quite tough. I found the boss battles quite difficult. I was dying a lot. Not to a point of game over, but I really went through my Phoenix Downs.
It does require you to be a bit grindy, which is okay. But they just in the grand scheme of things, like there weren't that many areas where you're going through and you're fighting. There's a couple short dungeons and then a couple segments on the world map, but outside of that, there's really not a whole lot of combat in the first 8 hours of the game.
And then, I mean, we'll get to this when we get there, but the final battle of Disc 1, you don't even have to beat, you just have to survive.
And it doesn't take that long. I think the final battle for me was 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long at all.
I tell you what, the final battle was quite tough with having just 3 party members instead of 4.
Oh, Quinna on that bit is, having Quinna in the party it's the first thing I do when I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I've always pronounced it Quinna, and I'm not changing it now.
just rename her Tom.
Just call her Quinoa.
Hazel saw it the other day. She goes, quinoa. I said, no, it's Quinna. And she goes, yeah, you can make that quinoa joke on the show if you want, but you have to reference me. I said, no, I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm not doing that.
Can I go back and get Quina?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's other, the marsh that you get her from. There's more of them on the world map, and you'll get them. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
So in regard to the leveling and the combat in this, do the characters level who aren't in your party?
No.
Okay. Unlike other games.
No, and also I was wondering if when you're leveling, do the monsters level with you?
No, that was just a Final Fantasy VIII thing. Because the remastered version, there is a speed up mode, and I have done a little bit of grinding just to kind of make it a bit easier since we were on a time limit. And like I finished disc 1. I'm definitely in the 20s, maybe even 30s, level wise. And
really,
yeah,
Holy
and the
shit.
bosses have been a fucking breeze.
I'm like level
11.
10 or something.
Especially when there's some abilities you can put on the characters where they level up quicker, and I've got level up quick. I've got that. It's called level up, and I've got that on Quina and Freya, and those two are like higher levels than Zidane, even though I've had them less time.
There's an option for Freya called Dragon, but it's empty for me.
Isn't it
you get abilities from the weapons.
Is it Dragon or Dragoon?
It's Dragon in the menu, I think.
But she's a Dragoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
How strange.
The first female Dragoon playable character if you ignore the games where you can choose your job as well. There you go. Interesting fact for you.
Interesting.
Let's get back to the main story here and what's happening.
Yeah.
So
we've lost Dan, by the way.
His internet died.
Yeah, I think so.
I was wondering why he cut out mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Things haven't changed.
Oh, he better not have lost his audio track.
Oh, shit.
God almighty. That guy and his internet, I tell you what.
That's Hett for you.
So anyway, the gist of the beginning of the game is that you're there to capture Garnet, and ultimately Garnet wants to leave of her own accord. So it's this weird melding of thieves kidnapping somebody who wants to be kidnapped. So she makes it easy for them, and she is leaving. Why is she leaving?
But you don't find that out for a while. But then Queen Braun, she fires on the ship.
Her whole castle just morphs into nothing but harpoon cannons. And
she gets real destructive.
They fire on the Prima Vista, and it still manages to make a getaway, but it's sorely damaged, and it ends up crashing in the evil forest. Zidane jumps off.
There's a bit where you fight Steiner on the ship, and at the end of that battle, when you've done enough damage to him, he says, he goes, "Bah, only a flesh wound," and it's actually a reference to Monty Python, the Holy Grail. You know, the Black Knight. Yeah, it's actually a reference to that.
So
nice.
Before the ship crashes, Zidane jumps off, makes his way back to the ship, discovers that discovers that Garnet is missing. So
you know the cutscene where the Prima Vista crashes into the forest? I didn't see that cutscene for years because my bad. I had a chipped PlayStation when I was a kid, so I used to play a lot of copied games. And my copy of this game, that cutscene just didn't work. I had to open the PS1 to skip the cutscene because it just crashed every time.
Oh, jeez.
So I didn't actually see the Prima Vista crash into the forest for years.
I had such a problem with my discs with that for years, Mike, on my PS1. They just wouldn't work.
My version of SmackDown 2, that was obviously copied as well, would only work if my PS1 was stood on its left side. Specifically, could not get the game to load unless my PS1 was stood on its left side, not its right side, not the front, not anything. It had to be specifically its left side, stood up like a PS2.
Oh my god!
That's me why. Only way I could get it to work. Worked 100% of the time.
Did you both have chipped PlayStations, Dan?
I didn't actually.
Dan just had a crappy one.
You just had bad discs.
Yeah, I think they were just scratched to hell. I didn't take good care of my discs. So I would always get up to the bit of the landing on Final Fantasy VIII where you go to Dullet, and then it would just jump.
Oh, love that scene.
But then they would work on the PS2, which is really strange.
So you crash into the forest.
The evil forest.
The evil forest.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice place for a holiday.
Yeah, you
But
crash into
Garnet
the evil
isn't-
forest.
yeah.
You get there. Garnet is gone, so you team up with Vivi and Steiner to go find her, and you discover that before you find her, doesn't Vivi get picked up by one of those
creatures, and he's in like a
cage
type
plant,
thing.
and
Aptly called the prison cage, I believe.
this is where two things happen. Zidane discovers trance, which is sort of like limit breaks in this game, except dumber.
Hey,
Thoroughly
trans.
disliked. It's just pointless.
Yeah.
Trance sucks.
But here's one thing that I do like about trance, is that if you die while you have trance on and you get revived, you still have trance.
Yeah, but still not much use, is it?
But
It just
what I don't
shows
like-
up at the most inopportune moments. I can't tell you how many times I've been playing this. I've tranced at the end of a thing where I've already inputted my commands and it's killed an enemy.
I
Or
was just
you've
about to say the same thing.
or you trance against like a beetle. It's like I don't need to waste my trance on this.
But it takes forever to fill up the gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I only got trance like 3 times in the first disc. Maximum.
It doesn't really happen very often. There is an ability which increases the rate it goes up.
High tide.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens here is Vivi discovers that he has magic powers because he's captured. He uses his fire to.
No, he uses them on the airship with the battle with Steiner and everything.
Does he?
Yes.
Oh, anyway, he's starting to discover more of his power with it. I don't think up till this point he really knew that he had these powers. When he does that, everybody in the party gets poisoned. They get brought back to the ship. They've been implanted with these seeds, and they have to take this tincture.
Zidane doesn't, because he does a strategic backflip out of the way.
And Baku forbids Zidane to go rescue the princess. They lock Steiner. Steiner at this point is still locked up in the hold, where he finds a really ugly doll who he thinks looks like the princess, and he gets really offended by it.
It has a label on it that says, when this is creepy as it is, because it says Princess Garnet, aged 15.
It's a different time. People lived to be like 23 back then, so she was over halfway midlife.
Still.
But it's not Garnet's doll.
That's true.
So when you
'Cause
first read it,
Zidane,
you're like,
yeah.
Princess Garnet, age 15. So maybe it was her doll when she was 15. But you
No,
come to
it's
find
the
out.
doll that Baku is holding up at the beginning. You know, at the beginning when he's
Yeah.
telling the plan. Yeah, it's
Oh,
the doll
yeah.
that he holds up there.
I guess I missed that. Ends up being Cena's doll, because you see him outside running around. It's like, have you seen my Garnet?
Isn't it Sinner?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say Sinner.
Cena.
It's not.
Cena?
It's not John Cena.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So to get Baku to get you to leave, or to allow you to leave, you have to fight him. You beat him up, and he relents, and you guys can take off to go.
I died on
no.
that fight because I kept stealing.
Well, I was about to say, can we actually
Oh
bring
my
up
God.
the thieving in this game? So it's a big
There's a
part
lot
of
of good
being able
stuff,
to,
isn't there, to thief?
Yeah, the boss battles generally have weapons that you can't get from the shops until much later, so it's always worth trying to steal from them. But the steal rate on this game on some of the enemies
So
is
low.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
to
can
kind
steal
of
a full
test
set
this
of
out-
armor from Baku.
Yeah, and to kind of put this into practice, I wanted to see how bad it was, because there's in the Evil Forest there's these just generic enemies called fangs, and you can actually get phoenix pinions from them. And I read somewhere that they're really, really hard to get. The steal rate on them is so low. Now, I tested this, and I basically had Zidane stealing every single one of his actions. I had Steiner and VV just defending. So I was literally just pressing X over and over again. Steal, defend, defend, steal, defend, defend, defend. And I had the speed up mode on, which I think goes 3 times the speed of the game normally. Even with that on, it took 20 minutes for me to get a Phoenix Pinion from one of those fangs.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why do you need a Phoenix Pinion that much?
You don't really, but I knew that you could get them, and I knew that they were a low steal rate, so I wanted to just kind of see how bad it is.
I see. When you told us originally, I was like, "Why are you going after Phoenix Pinions? Because you get them all the time."
Yeah, I know.
So what's the
Later-
difference between a
later on.
Phoenix Down and a Phoenix Pinion?
Phoenix pinions can be used as an item to summon a phoenix.
Oh.
Oh.
They're an equip.
No, aren't you thinking of Final Fantasy VIII?
No, I'm on disc 3. I know what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Don't talk about this 3. I'm Jan and I'm impatient and I didn't listen to the rules. That's you, Dan. That's what you sound
Thanks,
like.
thanks. It was great.
It's my Het accent.
Hettish is the term.
Hettian.
Right. Final Fantasy IX, Phoenix Pinion. The more Phoenix Pinions in stock, the more damage Eco's Phoenix Summon will do. And the higher the chance to revive the party when all members are KO'd.
Ichor.
What?
It's Ichor.
What did he say?
Dan,
Eco.
when you learn how to say Konami properly, start picking me up on how I wrongly pronounce things.
It's Eco.
It's Ichor.
I'm with Mike on this one. It's Eco.
Why is there an I in it then?
It's silent.
Why is there an E in it if it's Ico? Anyway, this is the part
Boom!
of the game where this is the part of the game where Steiner starts calling Vivi Master, and he recognizes his power and that he's not this shy, informidable little twerp that he kind of plays himself out to be. So Steiner kind of adopts this protective role where his main goal is to protect the princess. He also kind of takes Vivi under his wing as well. And as they're leaving, this is where Zidane reveals his entire motivation for wanting to rescue Garnet. He has a one-off line that says, I'm doing this just to get me a sweetie pie.
See, I kind of agree a little bit. I mean, I don't know Zidane's entire story. I accidentally read a little bit of a spoiler while I was doing some research earlier, so I kind of know where a little bit of it's going. But I think some of it is a little bit of a front, because I do think that even though, he has these kind of chauvinistic qualities about him, I think he's just legitimately a nice guy, and he puts on this front saying, I'm going to go get me a sweetie pie. Really, he's just trying to be good, and, someone has to go after her. That's how I interpret it, anyway.
It is.
No,
it is.
I
That's
interpret
true.
it. I interpret it as he is just a horny little monkey boy.
He's just trying to get his dick wet.
Yeah, or his tail.
Jesus.
He's honest, he's not. If you play it later on.
Yeah. So you head back out into the forest with Vivi and Steiner. You discover that Garnet is being held by another one of those cage plants, and kind of your first big battle of the game. Once you save her,
It's not a cage plant. It's a big one with tendrils.
is it?
Yeah,
But she's still kept up top in the cage, isn't it?
No, that's earlier.
I thought it was
Yeah,
still
there's-
the same one. Like
There's
it's
two fights with the prison cage before they all get poisoned. That's
Yeah.
what you're thinking
And then there's
of. And then
these prison cage enemies work for this master brain plant boss.
That's what it is. Yeah. Got it. I see.
Good.
Apologies
then
for
you
my
kill it.
indiscretion.
And we killing this master brain then turns the entire forest to stone.
So here's where something doesn't make sense to me. Why did Zidane tell Blank to take care of everyone, and then Zidane runs ahead?
Because Zidane is going to sacrifice himself and then Blank pushes him out of the way.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Zidane pushes Blank out of the way. He says, hey, Blank, take care of everybody. Pushes Blank, and then he runs ahead with everybody else, leaving Blank behind.
No, he doesn't. That's the other way
Yes,
around.
he does.
It's not. Because
At
Zidane's
no
about
point-
to get snagged. Zidane's behind everyone. Zidane is about to get snagged by a plant, and Blank pushes him out of the way.
The way that conversation plays out, Zidane leaves before Blank.
So he's probably going to run ahead slightly, then hang back, which
Why
maybe
would-
is
like,
why
it
he doesn't
doesn't-
run as
no,
quickly.
It doesn't make sense. If you tell
It
people,
does.
if you tell somebody, hey, take care of everybody, why would you leave that person behind and you run off with everyone?
Blank wasn't quick enough.
No, Dan, you're trying to justify something that doesn't make sense.
I think it makes perfect sense because he pushes him out of the way. So
No, he doesn't.
he does.
Okay, fine. In the end, Blank ends up becoming petrified, throws the scroll or whatever it is to Zidane and party, and they make it out. But in the scope of the conversation, Zidane is telling Blank, take care of everybody, which would mean you go on ahead with everybody, I'll stay here and take care of this. When in actuality, his actions do the exact opposite.
But in the cinematic, Zidane runs slower behind everyone as if he's going to sacrifice himself.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
I don't know about that.
I
Mike,
think you're being
Tom,
dumb.
what do you think?
Yeah, hang on.
Do you think that
I'm
would
looking at it on a video
sacrifice-
now. So Blank goes, what are you doing? Zidane says something's wrong. I'm literally watching this as we speak. And he says, Blank goes, what? And then Zidane goes, the entire forest is coming after us. And then he goes, Blank, ... take care of everyone. And then runs off.
Yeah.
And then Blank says, what did he mean? Well, he thinks, what did he mean by that? But Dan is right in the cinematic.
Woohoo!
Dan is right in the cinematic. Blank pushes Zidane out of the way.
What do you mean?
I'm looking at it right. I'm looking at it right now. Literally watching it as we speak.
But still, my concern is like that conversation doesn't make sense.
I know. I think Zidane is thinking, look, just get them all out. I will deal with this. I think that's what he's doing, which leads me back to that whole thing of I think he's just legitimately a good person. And at this moment, he's thinking, look, just get everyone out. Whatever happens, just get everyone out. He thinks, something terrible's happening. Whatever happens, get everyone out. That's what I think it is.
But then why did he run ahead?
Oh, shut up!
Inconsistencies. Anyway, Blank gets petrified in this forest, and you assume as a result everybody else in Tantalus is now dead because the whole forest has been petrified, and you make it out, and you're in this first instance of you getting to explore the open world.
Yeah, with that lovely, lovely, lovely world map music.
I do like it.
Yeah, it's good. Boop. It's very bloopy at the beginning.
You also get your Moogle flute at this point.
So the Moogle flute, the noise for that is the absolute worst. It doesn't fit.
Why?
It's so jarring.
Oh yeah, it's quite obnoxiously loud as well.
Do you guys know that you can get the Moogle to threaten you with a knife?
Yes, you can, and you can really piss him off.
If you just keep calling him and do nothing.
Yeah. One of the things he says, he goes, "I'm sharpening my knife, Kupo," which is both threatening and sweet.
Oh, that needs to be one of those plaques.
If you keep going at the same time, it eventually goes, "Stop it, Cooper!" It actually says KU-PEH.
Cooper. Did anybody... So once you get out into the open world, you're supposed to head to the ice cavern. Did anybody go to the Melda Arch instead?
Yeah, you can't really do very much there.
No, but it kind of leads along the line of what's going on. You see the Alexandrian war banner flying, which pisses off Steiner because for him, being the Knights of Pluto, he doesn't know of a war that's going on. Yeah. And you can listen. You can go to the gate.
I've never seen that scene.
Yeah, you can go to the gate and listen, and you hear metal grinding.
Which you can assume is them building weapons.
Correct. And then you can call out to them, and a woman replies saying yes, and she ends up being a medicine seller, so you can buy a bunch of medicine from her. And Zidane starts hitting on this girl before he recalls, oh no, I'm with Garnet. Further proving he's a sexist character.
Yeah.
So a couple of interesting callbacks here on this section of the game and the world map in general. When you first leave the Evil Forest, you've got obviously Zidane, Garnet, Vivi, and Steiner, and it refers back to the 4 original classes of the original Final Fantasy. So obviously your Warrior, Thief, Black Mage, and White Mage. And the world map itself. Now, obviously on this part of the game, you only see the one landmass that you're on the world map, but when you actually get to the full world map, the world map of Final Fantasy IX, Gaia itself, is a tribute to the original game's topographic structure. All of the major landmasses are arranged in a manner similar to Final Fantasy 1.
Oh, snazzy. You know what we haven't mentioned? Active time events.
We haven't gotten to him yet.
Yes, we have. They
No, we
appear in Evil Forest. So, yes, we have.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the very
yeah.
first one, yeah. I like this part of
Have
the
you
game.
even played this game?
Yeah, I
we're on
like
Final
that.
Fantasy X, right?
Christ.
The one with Balthier?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So active time events are these little side stories that pop up. They're completely optional, where you see a prompt on your screen that says ATE, and you press select, and it gives you an option for some active time events that are available. And they're just little vignettes of what other characters are doing at this point in the story.
Which I like, because sometimes when you play these games, it's a little unclear of when's happening compared to when. And I like this because it means, well, this is happening at the same time.
And when a character leaves the party, you're just kind of left like, oh, I wonder what the hell they're doing.
What
and
are
now
they
you
doing?
actually know.
Yeah, do you guys try and watch all of them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, always.
What's
I
interesting,
love that
though...
that happened a lot in Final Fantasy 15 when the members left the party and then you don't know what they're up to.
What's interesting, though, is if you choose one and you watch it, the second one might not pop up for a few minutes until you move to a different screen.
Yeah, I love the one. I think it's when you're coming out of the forest and you look at it goes back to the Prima Vista crash site, and the band are trying to like cheer themselves up, and they play the Junon music from Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, yeah.
Rufus's welcoming ceremony.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So the point that we have to get to now is the ice cavern to get above the mist. And it's kind of your first little dungeon of the game.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the only thing of note from the ice cavern is the boss battle. Really, it's just a dungeon to walk through. Really, but you get through, and all the characters start to just collapse and fall asleep.
I like this is where I really like how they start characterizing the relationship between Steiner and Zidane, because Vivi falls off the cliff, like down to the lower level, and then Steiner falls off, and then Zidane says, "Yo, Rusty, you're not all right, are you?" Like he doesn't like Steiner being there, and it's just awesome to see this banter back and forth.
Oh yeah, they hate each other. They constantly at each other's necks. Like, whenever anything bad is happening to the party, Steiner is instantly,
blames him.
yeah, just I bet this is you who's doing this.
Even though Zidane's not involved in any capacity, he's like, it's your fault.
But I like the comedy of Steiner as well. I mean, before they go out onto the world map, they stay on that campsite for Garnet to regain her strength, and Steiner's like, "Oh yeah, someone should keep watch. I'll take the first shift," and then it gets all the way to the morning, and he's stood there asleep, standing up.
Well, doesn't he make a comment there too? Like, you didn't touch her, did you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which, to be fair, with his history,
That's definitely a concern. So you find out that everybody's fallen asleep because of a Black Waltz, yeah, who is a black mage with wings. He's causing the blizzard.
Zidane wakes up first and hears the tinkle of his bell.
Yeah.
Now, this is madness, I think, right? Because I'm as we're kind of going through this, I'm going through to make sure we don't miss anything, and I'm looking at something which has the HP of the bosses and things like that. Now, I'm a little overpowered from the grinding I've been doing, but I remember from past playthroughs how hard this boss can be, because you literally just have Zidane, and there's the Black Waltz, and there's like an ice sea lion that he casts,
Yeah.
and you have to fight the two of them together, and it's a hard battle. But looking at this, right, the HP of the Black Waltz, he only has 250, and the Sea Lion only has 475.
Yeah, but when you're only doing 25 a hit.
Yeah, this goes back to what I can't remember if it was Dan or Tom said, that like you level so slowly in this.
You do. It's a difficult fight, but this is one of the few times in the game where trance comes in handy. Because if you have Zidane's weapon, which I think you can find behind a wall, Mage Masher or something, you get an upgraded trance ability which does a tsunami, and then that does quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So,
or if you stole the Mage Masher from Baku earlier on, you've already got it.
there you go.
So
I didn't struggle with any of the Black Waltzes. So after you beat the first one, it says that as it's dying, it says 2 and 3 will reclaim the princess. So you know there's more of these out there.
And then after that battle, you see two characters, Zorn and Thorn, who are these two little jesters that work for Queen Bran. That they sent the Black Waltz after.
I don't like Zorn and Thorn.
They annoy me because they're one of the most inconsistent characters in the game. At the start, they speak opposite, and then as you go on further and further, they just drop that, and then it comes back.
How weird.
One of them talks a bit like Yoda, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the other one talks normally, but then it just gets completely forgotten, and they just talk normally.
Their theme music, though, Jesters of the Moon, is one of my favourites.
It is good.
Yeah.
The music in this game is insane. It's so good.
It is. It's very good.
And
Trino is one of my favourite soundtracks ever.
I think that's the one thing that really defines these games, and you don't realize how impactful a soundtrack is for a game until you play a game where it's like, man, this music just doesn't fit. If you were to try to supplant this music into Final Fantasy VII, it just wouldn't work.
No.
Because you get the impression that this is kind of a Victorian-style medieval setting, so it's got that mesh of like music boxes and happy chipper style that just wouldn't fit in Final Fantasy VII, which is more steampunk emo-ish.
You say that, but it does have a mix. Like there's one later on called "You're Not Alone," which is heavy on guitar, like electric guitar and things like that. So,
but as a whole, it's really happy, upbeat music. After they wake up, this is where Steiner accuses Zidane of touching the princess. Sorry, that's this part. So he goes back, everybody wakes up, and you make your way above the mist onward to the village of Dolly.
With the stupidest fucking name change of any character ever.
What?
Oh, you mean the bit where you change Garnet's name to Garnet? Oh.
So, in a bid to try and make Garnet fit in more with common people so that people don't know that she's the princess, Zidane is trying to get her to talk more like him.
It's like listening to
which
Tom
Steiner isn't
switch
happy with.
into American Tom.
Yeah, which Steiner isn't happy with. You know, saying she's not going to talk like a commoner and things like that. And they're like, oh, we're going to have to give you another name. And she goes, Zidane, what's this? And he goes, well, it's a dagger. And he starts going off on this like boring rant about what a dagger is. And she's like, oh, well, I'll call myself Dagger then.
What if he had been carrying literally anything else?
Dildo.
Yeah, look at the same freaking thing.
I was going to go along that line. I don't know what that says about the three of us.
It's a good thing we're on the same show.
Tom, what were you going for?
Spoon.
Condom.
Oh,
English breakfast.
Just because he's
always got
just
one.
because he's a womanizer, yeah. So he's a safe one though.
Yeah, but did everybody call her Dagger?
Yeah, I can't change. As fucking stupid as Dagger is, I can't change the names of Final Fantasy characters.
I have literally just called her Garnet again. So she has a secret identity as a main. As
later
a
in the
identity.
game, later in the game, when Steiner's calling her Princess Garnet, she goes, "No, you can't call me that." Okay, Garnet.
It's
that
French.
does
It's
happen.
Garnet.
Garnier. Haven't you seen the shampoo commercials? What?
That's such a shit reference.
Well, it took you forever to get it.
No, it didn't. I got it straight away, and I was just like, "Do I respond to it?"
God, my comedy is lost on you people.
It's nearly as bad as Mike's optician joke.
I still can't remember what that was.
Me either, but it was terrible.
So you get to Dolly. Vivi is really excited to see a windmill. Ooh, it's like people coming into Hett for that village hall.
That is basically what Hett is like.
But this is where you really start to get the impression that Vivi's different, because these kids come up and they're just enamored with him, and they're like, "Did you see that? Is he real?" And
Why do the kids flap their arms like chickens?
Dan, you don't have kids. That's how they run.
Oh, but they do it while they're standing still.
Well, that's how you know they're still alive. That's how
Bear in
you
mind,
tell if
other
the
than
child
Dan
is
and
alive.
Crystal, there's no one below the age of 70 in Hett. So.
to everybody else, they're the children. Like, why aren't they flapping their arms? And when you go into the shop, the shopkeeper just stares at him as well. And this is where we start to learn that Dagger has some plans. She reveals that she has to leave Alexandria, but she doesn't explain why.
Just that she has to get to Lindblom.
Has to.
I'm guessing Dan pronounces it lined bloom or something.
Correct.
Lindblom. And there's quite a few active time events once you get into Dolly as well. The one where
there's the thing as well when they stay overnight. This is the first time, because this ends up being a bit of a plot device later on, if I remember rightly. You hear someone singing overnight, and Zidane, when he wakes up in the morning, was that Garnet.
Yeah,
it was important.
La, la,
which means that technically,
la, la, la,
because that's supposed to be Garnet singing.
Just let him finish. Let him get it out of his system.
And I'm done.
Hashtag voice of an angel. That technically makes Garnet the first ever Final Fantasy character to have a voice in the games, if you think about it. Because it's supposed to be her singing, isn't it? And I read this, and someone I read this. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And I was thinking, but wait, what about the vocal track in Final Fantasy VIII? And I realized that's not actually Rinoa singing. So
yeah, but it is Julia. Julie, when she's playing the piano.
Julia. Oh yeah, very good point.
Oh,
the thing that I got that off was wrong.
Yeah, with the save.
No, that's a very good point. Very good point.
So the first one here, Vivi's confused. He's walking around town, and as he's walking through, the kids are just actively avoiding him, and he's wondering.
Confused.
Hence the name Vivi Confused. So they did a good job naming that one. The next one, Dagger tries. She's kind of going through this mental recounting of events, and she's worried about the damage to the castle, and she makes her way to a garden. And that's where you're first introduced to Oglops.
Nope, incorrect, sir.
Not first introduced.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Introduced again to Oglops, and the old lady doesn't care at all, and Dagger kind of freaks out. But she discovers I need to act like these people, so she doesn't freak out by it.
No, the other way around. She doesn't freak out, and the woman's like, "Oh, most girls don't like Oglops," so she's like, "Oh, I'd better pretend to dislike them."
Gotcha.
And she counts down, then throws it really obviously.
I have another note here for one called Cat's Eye, and the only thing I wrote down was selling out the party for money. I don't remember what that was.
So you get the point of view is from the cat in the hotel where they say in the inn,
yeah.
And the cat is watching the guy who runs the inn, and the inn is like, I can't believe that. Oh, they were just standing there. It makes you think that he recognizes the princess, and that he's gonna, get her and sell on. But it actually turns out that he's after Vivi, which goes on to the next point of the story.
Yeah. Then it goes back into the hotel where you have that conversation between Zidane and Vivi about girls, where Zidane's always thinking about him, and Vivi never really thought about that. And Vivi is trying to reach out on an emotional level. He doesn't know how, and Zidane just completely misses it because all he's focused on is getting a girl instead of talking to Vivi about what he's noticed and what's bothering him. So Vivi's reaching out, and he just doesn't get that. And then Vivi's captured.
Thinking with your dick, son.
Yeah, think with the other head.
And then they go off finding him, and he has a chocobo under the ground, doesn't he, before he's kidnapped?
Well, yeah, the last place they saw Vivi was by the windmill, and Zidane goes back over there, and he hears sniffling, and you have to find your way down into the underground of this village. Once you get down there, things start to unravel here, and this is Dolly, for as simplistic of a place as it is kind of a really important turning point in the story. The first of which you see this giant barrel that has the symbol of something that they've seen at the castle before. And underground, you discover this machine that's making eggs, and it's not a mist machine, but
it's making them. There's making the eggs out of mist, isn't it?
Yeah, there's mist coming out of it, and as you progress through this underground layer, you discover that the eggs are hatching to make black mages that look very similar to Vivi, but with slight changes. And Zidane and
Like
Vivi and Garnet.
Vivi on steroids.
Oh yeah, Zidane, Vivi, and Garnet are caught downstairs. So they end up hiding in a barrel that gets taken away, and you flip over to Steiner, who is looking for a way to get everybody out of town. And
He's trying to get him back to Alexandria, isn't he?
correct. So his whole goal is
he's up on a tower trying to talk to Bert, who's not really having it.
about the cargo ship. When's the next cargo ship in? And finally he reveals, well, it's right there. So Steiner runs down, sees this barrel, and the barrel moves. He's like, what's going on with that? And come to find out, that's where everybody is. And
Like he pokes it with his sword.
Plays
gonna
pop-up pirate.
stab this guy. And everybody gets onto the ship, and this is famously where Zidane assaults Dagger.
Well, no, don't they fight the Black Waltz first on the ground?
No.
Yes, you do. Black Waltz 2.
Yeah, he turns up before they get on.
Oh, I
because
forgot
then,
to make a note on it. Yeah, you're right.
After you fight Black Waltz 2, that's where Steiner lies to them. Like, Steiner goes, oh yeah, this is going to Lindbrum, this ship, and it's actually going to Alexandria. Because then they make a point when they get up on the ship, Zidane and Garnet have the conversation going that this is actually going to Alexandria, isn't it? He's lied to us. And they're like, yeah. And that's when Zidane goes, don't you worry, I'll get us to Lindblum.
And it's really depressing once you get onto the cargo ship. You discover that it's being run by these black mage dolls who just are kind of like automatons. And you see Vivi just kind of go into this spiraling, confusing depression of trying to communicate with these people because he finally sees other people that look like him. And to your point, Mike, this world is filled with a bunch of different races of characters. And this is the first one that Vivi's seen who's like him. So he's trying to reach out and he's not getting that. And he just gets really sad about it.
Yeah, I think the first thing you actually see them say is later on when they're attacking you and they just go, kill.
Yeah. Well, and Zidane makes a point, too, that Alexandria is not very technologically advanced. So where is all of this stuff coming from? And what are they using it for?
This bit, as I said, I've not completed Vivi's story, and I know you just made a point of it, but this is where he really the naivety of his character kind of starts coming through and how young he really is. I mean, I'm not sure what age he's supposed to be.
I think he's 6.
Really?
Doesn't it say on the
I
remake
think in the official
screens? 'Cause-
guide.
Yeah, it does, and I can't remember what it said.
Well, and
I know,
because I thought it was really interesting, Juliet posted some pictures of her screen and Zidane's character sheet, and it just shows information like, who the hell cares if he's right-handed or left-handed? And he's a tailed human.
He's 16 as well. Is
Vivi's
Zidane.
meant to be 9 apparently, but I think Vivi was created just slightly before the rest of the other black mages, so he's not really that old.
Spoilers,
here-
Dan.
Yeah, on the Final Fantasy Wikia, it says age 6 months chronologically, 9 years old physically.
Anybody could have wrote that, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Oh well. Where were we at? Yeah, and then basically Zidane works on trying to turn the ship around, and that's when another Black Waltz attacks, isn't it? Because Steiner's getting pissed off because it's one of the black mages that are silent that's piloting the ship, and he's not getting anything out of them.
Even before you start turning the ship around, the Black Waltz starts to pursue you, and it flips into a cutscene where you see the dolls come to the defense of Vivi and Dagger, and they end up getting killed, and Vivi is watching as barrels of these kin fall off the ship to what he presumes to be their death. And there's that scene of him leaning over the side of the ship, reaching down. It's a really impactful scene, and it really helps develop his character of he needs to figure out who these people are and who he is.
Yeah, and he picks up the hat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. Really, really sad.
I like Vivi. I think he is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, simply because of his story arc and his journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, I like him a lot as well. He's a very good character.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. Black Waltz 3, you get Vivi's trance for the first time if you didn't do a whole bunch of grinding.
He can do double.
And then Zorn and Thorn reveal that the mages they belong to the castle, and that they've been dispatched by the castle.
Yeah, not to the characters, though. This is just something the player learns.
Yeah. So as the Black Waltz 3 is coming back, so Zorn and Thorn are on the Black Waltz 3 ship, and they see it coming back, and then they just kind of like pop up like little propellers in the wind and go floating off. But they make a comment that they're like, we made Black Waltz 3 too powerful. And Black Waltz 3 kind of has this internal dialogue of like, he starts to seem like he's short-circuiting. He's like, I exist only to kill.
Yes, then you get an exciting scene where the Black Waltz comes after you in an airship, a small one, while you try and escape through the gate.
I love that scene.
It's really good. Vivi shoots him down.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Good on you, Vivi. It's got a little bit of Independence Day feel to it.
Yeah, and then Zidane takes the airship to Lindblom.
And to my point before...
The gate gets destroyed.
Yeah, to my point before about the importance of airships in this, it's really cool how when you're on the world map, you're seeing other airships flying around. You're not just the only airship.
Yeah.
Even if you're just walking around...
Only at scripted sections, though.
Yeah, but even if you're just walking around the world map by Lindblom, you're going to see other airships flying in.
No, you only do it on the scripted bits.
No, Eric's right on this. There are, because you can even see some when you're up at Dali. There's like random ones flying around.
Yeah,
is there?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
You can see them on the world map.
On, then.
So you get to
do because spoilers.
Yeah. Shh. We stopped at disc 2, Dan.
Yes, I know.
So you get to Lindblom and you have to go see Regent Sid.
Who is an Oglop.
Yes. Who's been transformed into an Oglop.
It's also Garnet's uncle.
And you find out that his wife, Lady Hilda, has been abducted.
Hilda, who shares the name with the leader of the Finn Resistance in Final Fantasy II.
I forget, why was Sid turned into an Oglop?
It's not revealed until later.
No.
It is, trust me.
Something to do with his wife.
Got it. Somebody.
So yeah, you get a version of the story here though.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to remember what it was.
Somebody came and kidnapped him and kidnapped her and turned him into an
That's
Oglop.
it. Yeah. That's the story you get at the moment. But it does. I do remember what the actual real version was, but I say we'll save it for the when we get there.
Doesn't Steiner actually punch him across the room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
But he's
old
wanting to
Rusty.
develop an airship that doesn't run on mist, but his brain isn't what it was. His mind isn't what it was. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Well, in the first,
his mind isn't
the
what it was.
Hildegard 1 has been destroyed. So he needs to start development on the Hildegard 2.
It's been stolen.
Stolen, sure. So Zidane decides that castle food isn't for him and takes off and goes back to one of the bars that he used to frequent.
Well, Garnet is going in there, and you kind of she wants to discuss with Sid about what's going on with her mother, and that's why Zidane's like, well, I don't need any interest in this and castle food shit, and he goes in.
Yeah. So he meets Freya, who the first few times I played this, there are certain characters that just come across as a different gender. Like, to me, Freya looks like a dude, even though it's clearly not. Like,
I think she looks more feminine.
I don't know.
Yeah. More obvious than Quina.
Quinoa.
Or quinoa. Or quina. Or all the other variations.
So Zidane, immediately upon walking into this bar, starts hitting on the waitress, and Freya steps in with some snide comment, and they go back and forth with a little banter before you realize, like, oh, they actually know each other. And she reveals that she really has no reason to return to Bermesia. So you get the impression that she's got this heavy backstory that you're going to unravel soon.
Well, doesn't Zidane actually say to her, "Oh, have you found your boyfriend yet?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Which you find out later towards the end of the first disc.
Sir Fretley.
Yeah. Sir Frat Party.
Sir Frat Boy.
Yeah. But no, so Mike, you were talking about Dagger wanting to talk to Sid. So this is where Dagger kind of, you start to learn why she wanted to leave the castle. So she had some concerns about, like you said, her mother acting weird ever since her father died. And there's been a suspicious man prowling around the castle. And here's where you learn that Sid actually ordered Tantalus to abduct Garnet.
What?
Good stuff.
Yeah, so he's basically noticing the strange stance coming from Alexandria and from Queen Bran as well. So there's all this rumblings that like Alexandria and Queen Bran, there's some agenda on the world stage, or at least on that peninsula where they are. There's some stance on the world stage that they're gonna fuck some shit up. There's some interest. Yeah.
There's a funny little ATE event here called Small Town Night in a Big City, where Steiner discovers Geischel pickles, and he eats it in one bite, and he's like, even people who've grown up on these don't eat it in one bite.
It's like the durian of the Final Fantasy IX world.
Oh, no.
The Benny Mangoes.
Yeah, the Benny Mangoes. I should have put a bunch of those in with the t-shirts. They're suck on
I like Lindblom a lot as a city. I think it's really cool.
It feels go ahead.
Sorry, well, if you guys don't mind me divulging in a few kind of like references and stuff, it's fucking reference city in Lindblom as well. So there's one bit where there's a sign towards the northwest part of an area called Polem's action figures, which is a combination of Palem and Porom, the twin mages from Final Fantasy IV. Dan, you mentioned this one in the chat. There's actually a fountain there as well, which says there's no place to put the medal here, which is a reference to Resident Evil 2's unicorn puzzle.
Yeah, I never knew this.
That's a weird reference to throw into a Final Fantasy game.
It is. That's why I didn't know. Because I've always thought, as a kid, well, I don't have a medal. What is this?
I also remember the
official strategy guide was no help because it didn't have any actual strategy in it.
I remember in the weapon shop as well, there's if you click on somewhere in the room, there's a reference to Cloud's Buster Sword. Is that right?
Oh, yes, I know a guy with the spiky hair who used to have this.
Yeah,
that was next on my list. There's another one. There's a man near the air cab station that says, "Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker," which is obviously a Star Trek quote.
I didn't know.
And this one's a bit out there, but the airships that ferry you between the different sections of Lindblom, they all have 08 written on them, which is the same as the buses in Dealing City from Final Fantasy VIII.
Huh.
Wow. Well, big mishmash there of references.
Yeah, it's wacky, isn't it?
Especially the Resident Evil one.
And the Star Trek one as well.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I get a really strong Robin Oster feeling from Lindblom. It just has that same Final Fantasy XII feeling to it.
Final Fantasy IX was out first.
I understand that, but I just shut up. Go on.
What? Go on with what?
Go on.
This is this bit is the bit where.
Oh, that was it. That was the end of my list for Lindblom. Sorry, that was the end of my. Sorry, apologies.
So it moves on to a new section, which is kind of just a bit of filler. The Festival of the Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
did you guys win?
Yeah.
Woo!
No, I purposely let Freya win.
She has the better item.
Yeah, the item you get, because if Zidane wins, you get Gil.
5,000 Gil.
Yeah, which is not very much. If Vivi wins, you get a card. But if Freya wins, you get the Coral Ring, which if you put that on her, you get one of her abilities, her Lancer ability. So I went with that.
Yeah, it is a better ability.
Downside is if you let Freya win, because Zidane, goes back to Eric's thing about Zidane's personality and his attitude towards women. He essentially just joins to try and get a date with Garnet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he says,
yeah.
"Oh, if I win the Festival of the Hunt, we'll go on a date." But we have actually skipped a scene here where they're up on the tower.
Did we?
Oh, with the
So that's
telescope.
beforehand. Yeah, with the telescope. So Zidane goes back to the castle and can't find Garnet anywhere, and he actually has to disguise himself as a security guard to get in. And he hears her singing up on the tower. So he goes up to the top of the tower and chats to them up there, and that's where Garnet asks, if I hadn't asked to be kidnapped, what were you going to do? And Zidane reveals that they were going to use these, I think it's some greens, isn't it?
Sleeping weed.
Sleeping weed, that's it, yeah, to knock her out and take her. And she's like, "Oh, I'm having trouble sleeping. Can I borrow some?" And he gives her some. And that's when they look through the telescope.
Roofies.
Yeah, and you look through the rest, look at the next part of the world map, and you have to identify all of the bits and bobs before you can carry on.
All the bits and bobs.
All the bits and bobs on the world map. And Dan's getting more and more excited because we're getting towards the Chocobo Forest.
Yeah. We've also missed
No,
out.
that's not on this disc.
In Lindblom, you can also start to synthesize weapons.
Yeah, and this is just
Oh,
kind of one of those
yes.
things you accidentally stumble on.
Well, you get those little tutorials, don't you, from the Moogles?
Yes,
Every now and again.
teach me, Mog.
Teach me more.
I always
like
like
those.
that when it goes, "Oh, brother, you're so smart," and he goes, "Yeah, I know." But I always think of the go to the Little Britain thing and imagine the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But synthesizing brings Zidane gets a new type of weapon, which is really cool because that's not what usually happens in Final Fantasy games. The characters can have different styles of weapons. Not everybody.
Well, this
Yeah,
first
so
one's
I've
like a
been-
double-bladed sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I've been using the ogre
rest of
for
the disc
ages.
real easy. What'd you say, Tom?
Well, he kind of uses them exclusively from that point. But
Yeah,
later on, Garnet can get like a different kind of racket, which isn't a rod, and it hits from afar rather than. So
Yeah, the air
yes.
rocket. Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
he tries it on with her up there, doesn't he? And that's when he says, "I'll go on a festival hunt," and that's
So-
when you go to the next section.
Yeah, after the celebration of the hunt, you're in there, or after the festival of the hunt, you're celebrating with the king, and a Burmesian soldier arrives, saying that the black mages are attacking Burmecia. Hey, we need you to send reinforcements. And the king recognizes the level of friendship and says, "Fine, we're going to mobilize. However, it's going to take time. We'll have to pull them back from the front lines, and it's just going to take time." That's where Zidane and party say, "You know what? We'll do it. We'll go.
We're off.
But you have to leave through the Dragon Gate." Which, if you go downstairs, there's two gates. There's the Serpent Gate and the Dragon Gate.
I did not know this.
If you go to the right, it's the Serpent Gate, and you can't get out.
That's 'cause
Oh
that's a
no, I
dock.
did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was no good. That was a waste of time.
No.
I like the gates on this one.
They do.
Yeah. So I feel like I've really missed quite a chunk of the game because I didn't obviously find Queener and I didn't find the Chocobo side quest game.
Disappointed.
Did you even
know.
play it, Tom?
Yes.
Good.
Oh come on, you don't want to play. You don't want to talk about the Chocobo Forest game either.
No, I really don't. I actually told myself I'm going to go through this whole game without doing a single Chocobo side quest because I heard they're not very good.
Yeah.
Well, you'll miss out on all the best weapons and items, so good luck.
True.
Nah.
Nah.
Have you heard about Nah? Let me tell you. Let me tell you about Nah. So, you take off, and
Well, Garnet drugs everyone with the sleeping weed, apart from her and Steiner.
oh yeah, at dinner, so they can take off. And this is where the parties kind of separate for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Vivi, Zidane,
Freya.
and Freya left.
Yes.
And then you
So-
can go to Q's and meet Queener.
So remind me again, what does Garnet decide to do? She decides to try and go back to Alexandria to try and talk her mum out of it, isn't she?
Yes.
She spent
Yeah.
all that time getting to Lindblom just to go sodding back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been about 2 hours, but you know.
and the others go on their way to Bermesia. And then on the way there, you can go to the, as Dan was saying, Q's Marsh.
Where you see the two brother Moogles, which is kind of a neat little run-in. But if you go into the grass behind it, you find Quina trying to catch frogs. And if you help her catch a frog, then you go to the master, or you go to the chief of the village, and he says, Quina, it's important for you to experience more food that's out there, so will you take Quina along and give it more food?
Regarding Quina's name, it's a Japanese play on words. Quina translates as to eat, and the surname Quen translates as cannot eat.
So
Eat cannot
at this
eat.
bit, Vivi also reveals that he has a grandfather who looks like the Master.
Which Quayle's response is really out of left field. He's like, I don't know that bigot.
Yeah, it's really strange.
What?
Yeah. So Vivi's grandpa's name is Quan, Quan. The elder of this village is Quayle, and that's his response. And he goes, I don't know that bigot. And then, no, I don't know him at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, clearly you do.
But it's never addressed, ever.
The
It's like one of those awkward family dinners where someone's brought up that the grandma hates.
Yeah. So yeah, you get to move on with Quina in tow and completely skip the Chocobo Forest.
Nah, let Dan have his moment. Come on.
Oh, Jesus. Go on.
No,
Come on, Daniel.
We'll talk about it on Disc 2.
No, get it over with.
So, at this point, you can go to the Chocobo Forest, which is hands down the best side quest in all Final Fantasy.
Bold statement. I love it, but bold statement.
Quite bold.
Yeah. I think I honestly love it so much.
Is it better than Blitzball?
Yes. I don't know.
Okay.
It's grindy. It can be annoying, but it's really
So
addictive.
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever done any of this. I think I may have missed this every
What?
time I've played it. So give
So
me
you
the
go
skinny.
to you go to the
Give me the
Chocobo
rub.
Forest and you meet a Moogle. What's his name?
Stiltskin?
Moogie.
No.
Rumpelstiltskin?
I can't remember his name either. I will
God,
find
it
it.
doesn't-
Carry on, Dan. I will find it.
Doesn't matter. So you meet him.
Oh, yeah.
And then you.
Yeah, Tom's right. Meanie.
Meanie?
Yeah, Mene. Or mean or meanie.
Men.
Could be me.
Yeah.
Oh, men.
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 So he By introduces many. you to a Chocobo, who you then have to summon from outside the thing, and then take him into the forest. And then you get this. He tells you about this digging mini game called Chocobo Hot and Cold. And basically, this is a thing where you have to find treasure buried underground. And it's it depends on your proximity to the treasure. When you dig, the Chocobo makes a different noise. And you can dig up these things called chocographs, which are treasure maps to items which are hidden on the world map. And it's just so fun.
So you dig up the chocographs in the Chocobo Forest, and then you go find the treasures on the world map.
Yes.
Got it.
But to get the chocographs can be quite grindy, but as you do it, your beak levels up, and you can dig faster and faster. And as you get the chocographs on the world map, your Chocobo also evolves and gets new abilities, like the ability to run over the ocean, or mountains, or fly, and things like that.
I'll give it a go.
It is good
Good.
fun, Eric.
I'll give it a go.
And there are more locations around the world where you can dig up chocographs.
Yeah, so a bit of a spoiler for later on. Like, there's some that are hidden. You have to go, like, hidden on part of the ocean, like a cave on part of the ocean. You have to be able to run on the river to get to it and stuff like that.
Fine.
I'll try it too.
So after this, we have to make our way
You won't
to
regret it, guys.
Gizmaluke's grotto.
How about Gizamaluke?
It's not Gizamaluke.
Gizmaluke.
Gizamaluke?
Jizz on Luke?
Yes. Jizz on Luke's grotto.
Marmaduke.
Damn it, we're gross. What's the point of going here? This is how you get to Bermesia, right?
You just have to get
Just
through
to-
there. 'Cause- yeah.
Yeah.
Just to get
And-
through.
Which has a very inefficient system for getting through doors, I feel.
Well, you get there and you see some Burmesian soldiers who have been killed, and then you go raid one corpse and you find a bell, and you have to shake that bell to open a door.
Sounds about right.
I actually got
imagine every time you opened a door, you had to get a bell, which then broke after you'd opened the door. I mean,
I actually got stuck here because the second room you get into has 2 doors that you can go through. Each door leads to the exact same room. So then you get to the next room that has the big bell with the Moogle under it, and the Moogle smells a Kupo nut on Vivi, lifts the bell off, takes off. You get another bell from him, which you're supposed to use to open a door in that room. Well, I went back out to the previous room to open the other door, just to realize, oh, it just took me to the same freaking room a different way. And then I didn't have any bells. Because there's one there, the door you couldn't open, and then one where you needed a bell. And I had no idea what to do, so I started searching back around. Maybe I could steal one from an enemy, or finally I went all the way back to the beginning and was talking to each of the dead bodies, thinking, okay, well, I got one off a dead body originally. Let's check the other ones, and just happened to check the one I'd gotten it from originally, and you just get another bell off of it.
Did anybody go outside near the Moogles?
Yeah, I thought that's the way that you went, and I lost a ton of progress because of that.
Yeah, there's a really overpowered enemies up there for some reason.
That's kind of like the island closest to heaven and island closest to hell from Final Fantasy VIII, where you go up there and that's where you do your serious level grinding.
Yeah, you are fucked if you go there.
Well, they make it seem like that's the way to go, because you go in, you save the game, and you're supposed to walk back out. And as you walk back out, that's when the Moogle gives you the Holy Bell or whatever it's called.
He does try to warn you when you go up there, though.
Yeah. He does.
Supposedly, sorry, go on.
I wrote that down as like that's kind of a deceiving little part of the game.
I don't know, if you're investigating properly, you realize that the little bells you have don't open that main door, so you can put 2 and 2 together and go, well, they give me a different one to go through the bigger one.
Well, my brain was go up the ladder, find the bell up there, come back down, die, lose progress.
It's my brain, you see. It doesn't work properly.
It doesn't work so good.
Supposedly, the bells required to open the doors harken back to the goddess's bell from Final Fantasy II, used to open Kashwan Keep.
They need to get better door systems.
Yeah, one use bell.
So you fight Master Gizmaluk, who is a big snake stingray thing.
He's basically Leviathan.
Yeah. And he has been charmed.
Zorn and Thorn.
Yeah.
Did you guys do the tent trick with him?
No, what's that?
What's that?
So there's some enemies in the game, some of the bosses, basically if you throw a tent onto them.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, it comes up saying, whatever the name of the enemy is, it says, has been bitten by the Silence Blind poison snake. So basically it inflicts Silence Blind and poison all in one go. It's only on certain enemies you can do it, and you can do it on Gizmaluk. Now the poison doesn't take, but you can silence him and blind him, so he can't do any magic attacks, and most of its attacks miss you.
Oh, wow.
Just by throwing a tent onto it.
Can we also talk about the hilarity of tents in this, by the way? Because in other games, you've never actually seen the tent, but you can use a tent in this in like the most tense situations, and then it just goes to night time. They just have a sleep.
It's got a little like Moogle bobble on top of it as well.
Yeah, they're just in the middle of escaping from somewhere, and then just plonk a tent down and just have a nap.
Hey guys, wait! Don't bother me.
Time out.
So then there's a little cutscene here, or section that breaks away, where it's Steiner and Dagger trying to cross through South Gate, and Steiner has Dagger in a pack, or like a old hobo's bag on a stick, and he's being pestered by the guards to check the sack and discover it's filled with garnet along with a ton of Geishel pickles, and the guard there hates Geishel pickles and lets him through.
How strong is Steiner?
No kidding.
I know she's a slim girl, but good God.
Yeah.
How does she stand being in that bag if they smell that bad?
Yeah, well,
die.
maybe she doesn't mind.
Yeah, she's probably fine with it.
And then did anybody do the bit where she's getting changed and you can run across the other side of the Steiner and she freaks out?
No,
good.
I missed that.
Clearly. So that section is really kind of just throwaway, and they go up a couple of cable cars and then meet Black Waltz again, who's still buggered up.
Well, that's not. Not yet.
Kill him, really.
That's not yet.
Is it not?
No, that's a.
It is there.
No, because you do the Burmecia stuff, don't you?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think he's right. You're confusing the next bit on disc 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are, Dan. Yeah, you're getting mixed.
Because disc 2 picks up with them going up the cable
right,
cars.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
So they just get through the gate, and then it flips back to you guys walking into Burmecia, and Freya starts to unravel a little bit more of her story. It's like, this is my home. I've been away for 5 years, and the city's been ravaged.
I was going to say something. I've completely forgot my train of thought.
Did anybody get the pair of boots that were hidden across that platform that falls?
Yes.
You have
but
to.
I already had like 2 pairs of them anyway.
Yeah, you have to walk across that platform, and then as soon as you walk back, that's when it falls and opens up the pathway forward. But
if you run on it the first time, you drop down and you miss the item.
Correct.
Yeah. I've just realised what I was going to say. That was it. I knew I had a thing about Burmecia on here. So, in reference to another Final Fantasy, which I've not actually written down here, there's another Final Fantasy with a place called Zozo, and Burmecia is, like Zozo, Burmecia is a ruined, constantly rainy city, which at one point requires the player to jump from one building ledge to another to proceed. Both towns also have thief-like enemies who can steal from the party, but I haven't written down which Final Fantasy that's from.
They also have mimics.
Yeah, because some
I
of
thought
these
that was
chests
weird.
have enemies, right?
Yeah, it's an actual mimic. Is that the first time a mimic appears in a Final Fantasy? I think.
I thought maybe 7 had mimics.
Did 7 have mimics?
No, the mimic appears disguised as a treasure chest in Final Fantasy 9. And then it's in 10 and 11 and 12. So it's the first appearance.
Interesting.
It's an interesting character for the series.
To kind of roll off the last that I've got on references on this disc as well, because I didn't quite know where to insert this one. There was a load of others that I skipped past because we got past the bit, but I thought this one was kind of interesting. So Quina can learn enemies' abilities by eating them, and there's one called Frog Drop. Yeah. And the frog drop ability takes its name and design from Chrono Trigger tech Frog Squash. Both are written identically in Japanese. The ability in Chrono Trigger also involves summoning a giant frog to land on the enemies. In addition, the appearance of the frog that is the summon during the ability in Final Fantasy IX is similar to Frog from Chrono Trigger. A little Chrono Trigger reference for you there as well.
I was eating everything as Queena.
It's hard to gauge, though, because you have to have the enemy be at low health before you can eat it.
Yeah,
so then
unless
if you,
she's in trance.
Yeah, if you queue up certain attacks, and then, like with Freya, I always use jump, and then have
same.
Steiner or somebody else attack, or Zidane or Vivi attack, and then Freya comes down and kills it. I'm like, oh, shit, I timed that wrong, and then Queena tries to eat something that's full health.
Yeah.
When you first get Quina, there's some enemies nearby. The best 2 abilities to get straight away. There's one that's Mighty Guard, which puts Shell and Protect on the whole party.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another.
You don't
one as
have
well
enough MP though to use it.
Well, I'm a little overpowered because I did a bit of grinding.
Yeah, you're cheating.
You missed it because your internet was broken, but I've been doing a bit of grinding, like with the speed up function, just to try and.
I know you have, and I'm very disappointed in you.
But yeah, Mighty Guard, which is ace, and there's another one which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, that basically casts Remedy on all of your party as well. So if you've got any status effects, you can just bye. Really useful to have.
So after you get through this part of Burmecia, you start walking up towards the palace, and there's some pretty important conversation that happens regarding Vivi and his quest to discover more about himself. And Freya looks at Vivi and says, you know, the answer that you seek may change your life for the worse. But Vivi's response is, I have to find out, and you know, I'm scared. What if I'm not even human? And Queena, in her infinite wisdom, pops in with her broken English, and she's like, "I'm not human. You definitely human."
I love Queena. She's so funny.
Yeah.
She has so many funny moments. Also, I need to talk about Queena's damage. She has random attack damage for her weapons.
What?
Yeah, it's if you not notice when she attacks, sometimes it can do 100, sometimes it does like 63.
I did think that was a bit weird.
Yeah, it's randomized.
Huh.
It's really obviously she gets more powerful over time as you get better weapons, but
Not
it's
noticed.
always randomized.
Never noticed it.
And it's really inconsistent, so you could do tons of damage or no damage.
Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right.
I didn't know that.
Well, I did a fact.
A fact. All right, so we're nearing the end of Disc 1 here. You get up into the palace where you discover Beatrix, who's an Alexandrian general, generally regarded as the most fearsome and merciless, is there with Queen Braun. And
A mysterious man who speaks in theater speak.
who, to be honest, doesn't look like a dude, especially with that codpiece that he's wearing.
Now, guys, right. You see that cutscene of we're going to say it's Kuja in a second. Now, you see that cutscene of him getting away on his dragon, right? Now, speaking as a heterosexual man, he is a sexy dude.
That's because he looks like a woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
why.
He's very. There's a scene later on where he's very effeminate.
Well, look at those boots. He's got thigh-high boots. He's got a bikini bottom and feathered hair with actual feathers in it.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to Bermithia.
And
It's
as
so
we talked
nifty.
about, here's the flashback where we see what exactly happened between Freya and Sir Frat Party. Freya and Fratley were an item, and Fratley had to go off to the war. He had to go journey around the world for something. And he never came back, and there was no proof of his death. So Freya says, "I cannot live without you," and it's her quest to find out what happened to him.
See, I don't like that about Freya. She seems like a real badass, and she just kind of fawns over a bloke.
Yeah,
She just has a soft side.
I have a question as well. She brings up at this. They find out that on the way to the chamber where Bronn and Kuja and everyone are, they see. It's Dan, isn't it? The Burmesian knight Dan.
Yes, I was in the game. Yes,
Yeah,
and so was
he
Tom.
tells you-
Actually, there was a character called Tom. In
looking for his
Alexandria.
cat mittens.
Yeah, did you find him?
He tells you that the king and other residents of Burmesia have gone to Clara nearby. And Freya says that basically Burmesia and Clara don't get on. There was some trivial conflict years ago. Was it the sit or stand debate?
You are a city of sitters, and you are a city of standards. We cannot join forces.
I don't know why anybody wants to live in Burmesia where it always rains. I mean, how depressing is that?
Isn't that Hett?
No, we don't have as much infrastructure.
Oh, but you have all the rain.
Yeah.
Did everybody save the Burmesian guy from getting crushed by the statue?
Yes.
Yes.
That comes
yeah.
back later on.
Yep.
Oh, does it? I wonder
Yes, it does.
what that meant.
Well, so then Kuja appears and asks Bronn to gather the troops at... Yeah, did you mention this at Clara? And Clara is a city of illusion with people who originally...
A city of illusion!
God damn it.
Really?
Sorry.
People...
Carry on.
People there were originally from Burmesia, right? I think that's what it was. And then they've broken ties. So, yeah. That's the end of Disc 1 after you fight Kuja, which is...
No, you fight Beatrix.
I'm sorry, Beatrix, and it's your first of a handful of unwinnable battles with her.
Yeah.
And that's the end of Disc 1.
And Kuja flies off on his dragon. Really sexily.
Mike got a little bit of a man boner.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I like the look of you. So it's a short disc. I realized that I took a lot longer to beat this disc than you guys did, and I felt like I was clipping through it.
And we did the Chocobo side quest.
I know, it took me
Yeah,
9.5 hours.
Mine was
I
about
put a boil into it.
6.5.
Well, to be fair,
through it.
Q's Marsh is a good 3 hours.
It took Mike 30 minutes because he was playing on double speed.
No, I'm not using double speed all the time. I used it for a bit of grinding and then getting across the world map quickly. That's what
Nope.
I'm using it for.
Not allowed.
Are you allowed?
Well,
can you turn off the random encounters on that?
You can, but I don't. There's the options you have. There's the speed up. There's the turn off the random encounters. There's one so that every single attack you do does 9,999 damage, which I haven't used either. And there's another one that I can't remember. I can't remember what the fourth one is because I've not used it. I've literally just used the speed up just to get across the world map quickly. And to backtrack through dungeons. If I had to backtrack through a dungeon, I've put the speed up on as well. But yes, quite good. I said this to you guys. Despite the fact I haven't finished Final Fantasy IX, I've realised that the first portion of this game, I've probably played it more times than I have done any of 7 or 8.
Well, it's a quick first disc in comparison.
Oh god, yeah. But is there more cinematics on this than the first disc? There's definitely more cinematics on this first disc than Final Fantasy 7.
Very likely.
Is there more cinematics than 8?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's probably why it's got 4 discs.
Because I know Final Fantasy 7, the last disc, essentially most of it is just the ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys, we've all played this before, but going back to it, I mean, what do you still think? Still holds up?
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's definitely it's a departure. It's more of a slow burn.
Yeah. Well, I find it interesting you don't even get all of the characters on the first disc. Like 7, I can't speak for the other games, but
you don't.
7 and 8, you have all of the characters you can on 7 because some are optional. You have all of the characters by the end of disc 1, and we've still got another 2 to meet yet.
We have the guy with the red hair and Eco.
Yeah, Amaranth and Eco.
Amaranth, there we go.
Yeah.
I never cared for those 2 characters, really.
I like Eco. Amaranth.
Nah. So that kind of leads us into our first question from the post on Facebook. If you want to join in on the discussion, facebook.com/group/Factory Sealed Podcast. Dan C. Gilbert wants to know favorite character, least favorite character.
Who wants to go first?
Vivi. Vivi's my favorite.
I agree. Vivi's my favorite.
Least favorite.
Yeah, I do like Zidane. I know he's womanizing and stuff, but I still like his arc.
His arse?
Arc. Story arc.
His story arse.
My least favorite
Story
is probably
arse.
Garnet, but I can't remember how her story goes.
Can't
I'm
remember.
not a big fan of Garnet, actually. I'm with Mike, though. Amaranth is a bit naff.
I used to... I probably would have said Steiner, but this time through I kind of relate with him.
You guys, Amaranth has a nickname called the Flaming Amaranth, and I just imagined the hilarity of changing it to like the Flaming Tom.
Or Crotch. The Flaming Shite or something.
Flaming Jeeves. Mine, obviously, I've not finished this game, so I've not seen all the character arcs as well, so I can only go by what I've seen. Favorite character, yeah, Vivi. Zidane is a close second. I mean, again, what you said about the womanizing, Dan, is not. It doesn't hold up in this day and age, but I truly stand by what I said earlier, where he uses some of it as a front to, he's not as confident as he seems, and he is genuinely a nice person. He always genuinely tries to help people, and he's always doing the right thing. Like the whole thing of helping Garnet and going to find her, and then later on when Freya finds out that Burmese is being attacked, he's the first one. Okay, I'll go with you. And he's always trying to do that right thing. Sure, he misses the mark a few times with Vivi, but I think he sees Vivi as kind of a younger brother kind of character, and he wants to kind of put Vivi, like, bring Vivi up in his image, so to speak. And he's a bit complacent with it, I think. But I think legitimately he's a nice guy. But yeah, Vivi is my answer on favourite, and yeah, least favourite. Going back off the history of when I've played this before, Amaranth. We'll get into this when we get onto the disc, but his reason for joining the party is boring. He's boring.
He kind of feels like a forced character. Like, oh, we needed a 8th character, so let's just throw him in.
Yeah. Don't like the character design either.
You gotta pick Beatrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Marcheski, I suppose it will be talked about, but when did you all first play it? My story was in seeing the art contrasted by Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy VII, and having a friend say the main guy is a monkey guy. That's stupid. So sadly, I put it off for a year until I finally gave it a shot, and it's my favorite numbered Final Fantasy game.
I played it at least, yeah.
When this game first came out, but I couldn't actually afford it. But I went to local game store and traded in a ton of PS1 games.
Oh, probably some gems too.
Probably, no doubt, but you know what it's like when you're a kid. You just kind of swap 5 games for 1 every time. I just had to have it. Yeah, major Final Fantasy game. Had to have it.
Yeah, I bought it alongside the official strategy guide, which is absolutely crap.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, terrible.
It's the one where it's just full of things saying, "Want to know about this secret? Go to playonline.com," which doesn't even exist anymore.
It is the most worthless strategy guide ever made. But to be fair, that's right when the internet was kind of at its peak of popularity and coming to.
I know, but it's such a swizz buying it, and then it has nothing in it.
It's expensive as well.
What got me actually collecting strategy guides and art books was the Art of Final Fantasy IX. It was the first book guide/art book that I ever bought, and that really set the stage for me kind of going crazy with all of it. And I still have that original one.
So I have, like you said earlier, Eric, the soundtrack to this one is fantastic. I actually learned a lot about playing piano by playing soundtracks of Final Fantasy IX because I love this soundtrack so much.
You've done that with a few of the Final Fantasies, though, you've mentioned before.
Yeah, 7
That's
and
really
9
cool.
generally. I can bang out Traino great on the piano.
That's awesome. To answer the question, I played this when it first came out. As I said earlier, Naughty Boy. I had a chip PlayStation. As soon as the guy who used to get copied games in, he used to have fucking lists and lists and lists. As soon as he got that in, I had it. But I wanted to play it so badly. I mean, as I said, Final Fantasy VII was my first foray into any RPG, let alone a Final Fantasy. Loved 7, loved 8, and I used to look at the previews of Final Fantasy IX in PlayStation magazines all the time. I can picture in front of me now that one of the first images I saw of Final Fantasy IX is, when Steiner goes towards the airship at Dali, and like the airship's in the distance and he's going towards it. Like one of the very first screenshots I saw, and I always remember. I can picture it now on the print on the magazine. That was one of the first screenshots I saw.
Huh.
Cool.
I didn't play this initially when it first came out. I probably waited 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why.
You were too busy playing urban golf or something.
I mean, I was 14 at the time, so it's probably a thing. Let's see. Dalton Sutter. Sutor. How do you guys rank this among the Final Fantasy series? Also, why is Vivi your favorite character? Because he's obviously the best. I think we've talked about enough why we like Vivi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say this is possibly my third favorite.
Ooh, 7 obviously first. What's your second?
Yeah.
Mystic Quest
10,
is number 1.
I think.
10? Mystic Quest. What? Where's 8?
You're dead to me, Dan.
God, good lord. I think this is my third favorite Final Fantasy.
I would probably agree.
Yeah.
I'm not finishing this. I don't want to put it into a placeholder yet, but I am definitely enjoying this a hell of a lot more than I remember.
I think each one stands on its own merits. I think this one is much more heavily focused on story and character development. But I would put still 8 as my favorite, and then probably 7 as my second.
8, 7, 9.
Yeah.
I would be that as well.
Yeah. Ralph Caffrey, how do y'all feel about rare steals? Do you sit there and try to get them? How long do you try? Did you play the original or the remake? How do you guys feel about text in the remake? And why is it so ugly?
I mean, I touched on the steals earlier. Yeah. I mean, I try and get every single one off the bosses. The only one I haven't got so far is a one off Beatrix, because obviously you run out of time eventually. I didn't get it. I couldn't be asked to do it again.
I started doing loads of steals, but then just completely gave up. Just wasting too much time.
Once you start getting the abilities on Zidane, it's not too bad. But yeah, literally Beatrix is the only one I haven't bothered getting so far.
There is an ability called Mug. I think, does that just get you gil, or does that increase your chance as well?
That means when you steal, you also attack.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
The one you're thinking is Steel Gil.
Steel Gil. That's it.
See, I thought Mug would be an actual. It applies to your attack like it does in other Final Fantasies, but it doesn't. It just applies to the steal command.
Yeah, and it's not as powerful as your normal attack either, if I remember rightly.
Which annoyed me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm the only one playing the remake, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How do I feel about it? It's great. I mean, for someone like me who has to play this within time constraint, the speed. I know Dan's going to go, but like the speed up feature for someone like me who's doing this with a time constraint is fantastic.
Mike,
any backtrack,
whenever Dan complains about that, just remember he's playing it in forced widescreen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I'm going to post lots of pictures of it so you can enjoy it.
And the character models look fantastic. The cutscenes look fantastic. The only downside is, and I don't know why this is, but Squaresoft didn't have the uncompressed versions of the backdrops in the main areas. So they don't look that great. Like, they look better than the original, but they still look blurry. And in combined with the great character models, it really, really sticks out that they're still
kind of jarring.
Yeah. But I mean, it still looks great, and it still controls well, and it feels like Final Fantasy IX, as I said, but everything's so much quicker. The slow pace of this game has always been a bugbear of mine. And your question about the text, to be honest, I haven't noticed. Maybe I'll pay special attention to it. And maybe
I noticed that it looked a little different in some of those pictures that Juliet posted, but I don't think it would bother me.
But yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. If you want to play this on your PS4 and you want it to be that bit more fast paced, it's a definite pickup. I mean, I picked it up when it first released because it was on special offer.
I wish they would have done the remake and released it on Vita as well.
Yeah.
It's strange that they didn't.
Yeah. But Jeremy Sanford, as someone who's never played a Final Fantasy game to any extent, what's your elevator pitch to get someone to give the series a try, and what game would you each suggest?
Play it!
Get it!
As someone that started with 7, I think 7's a great place to start.
Yeah,
as long as you don't compare it to modern RPG conventions.
Yeah.
Or 10. 10 would be a good place too.
6 is very good.
10 would be a great starting point.
Oh yeah.
I think that
then you would expect everybody to talk in the older ones.
I think what a lot of people misconstrue about Final Fantasy is that they're all tied together, and they're not in any capacity. So it doesn't really matter where you start. It just, as the games progress, the dynamics change and they improve upon things. So just story-wise, if you want a fantastic story, start with 7. If you want really fleshed out gameplay and more polished like a modern RPG, possibly start with 10. I think 12 would be a terrible jumping in point.
I think 7 as well, because there's always been the kind of weird, goofy elements to Final Fantasies as well, and you get quite a bit of that in 7. So you get the quite serious story. You get, if you've never played anything with kind of the ATB system or turn-based battling, it's a good introduction to that. And so, the characters are all blank slates that you can customize to your own will, and then you get obviously that goofiness as well.
In thinking about it, though, honestly, now that I think about it, 9 would probably be a better one of the PS1 games to jump into because the combat system's not overwhelming. 7, you have the materia system to master. 8, you have the junction system.
8 would be a bad place to start, I think.
8 would be very
don't start
bad.
with 8. Don't start with 8.
Definitely go to 8 at some point.
Yeah.
Just play a Final Fantasy, guys. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
What, the original?
Mystic Quest.
Let's see. Zach Foley. Okay, serious question. Do any of you remember using Bleem, or specifically Bleemcast for Dreamcast? I remember playing the shit out of Metal Gear Solid and Gran Turismo with those, and there was Final Fantasy IX Bleemcast planned, but never came to fruition. Here's hoping someone digs out that code base and starts it up. I'd love to play Final Fantasy discs on Dreamcast with Bling. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I saw this question. I just quickly Googled it. It's essentially an emulator.
I remember Bleem. Yeah, I never had it, but it was.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, I saw Bleem. So playing games on your PC. That's what I remember it as.
And you can get it on the Sega Dreamcast.
Juliet.
I don't really have an answer for that question, so sorry.
Juliet Breslin Romano, saving the Moogles is my favorite save mechanic in any Final Fantasy. Do you have a favorite? Does anyone think that Steiner is as annoying as I do? Have any of you seen the stuff about max stats in Final Fantasy IX? Is it something you care about? And finally, Moogle versus Chocobo versus Cactars. I vote Moogles. Can't get over those cute little guys. Although the Chocobros with their different colored Chocobos was hella awesome.
Also, side note, I think Juliet has been the most excited person for us playing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people have wanted us to play it, but she takes the cake. Okay, first question from her. Do you have a favorite save mechanic?
This is the Moogles.
Moogles.
It's more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
The
like
only thing I
Moogles.
dislike about them is the amount of time it takes for them to fucking open their book, flip over,
Oh,
go to the page, and that shit.
I
It
like
takes
that.
time.
I think it's endearing.
I always felt like the save points or the save crystals were so out of character for the world. Like, there's just this big spinning thing. Go stand on it.
Or 7, where there's just a big question mark.
Yeah. Let's see. Seeing stuff. What is she on about with max stats?
Probably just maxing out all the abilities and things and getting to level
Oh,
99.
that's the fourth thing on the Oh no, it's not the fourth thing, but on the remaster.
Yeah, you can max everything out
yeah,
and get all the
if you-
abilities, can't you?
If you go in the config menu, in there you can max it all out. Obviously, once you've
Yeah,
done it,
yeah.
you can't
Ultimate
reverse
Dan mode, we know. Shut up.
it. Yeah.
Finally, Moogle, Chocobo, Cactar.
Moogle.
Chocobo.
Oh, Chocobo, actually.
I kind of like the Cactars. They're just such a
I was gonna say
goofy.
Cactar.
They are such a goofy character.
I tell you what, they're a ball ache in Final Fantasy IX mind, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Let's see. She has another. It's just more of a statement. Experience. This was my first game on a platform that wasn't the NES. I got stuck in the Evil Forest for 11 hours because for some reason
hell.
finding that area around the corner to go through wasn't working for me. This was, to say the least, frustrating, but probably not as frustrating as you'd think. Sometimes the graphics in 9 make it hard to see entrances and exits, but I still don't know how I missed it. Maybe this fostered my great love for grinding. I find it relaxing, so it all worked out for the best in the end.
Wow.
I feel your pain with not seeing an
Oh,
exit because
does
I
anybody-
mentioned this on the Final Fantasy VII show
Yeah.
that like I just couldn't find an exit in Cosmo Canyon in Final Fantasy VII, despite the fact that you press select and see them, and I quit playing it and didn't get past it again until I replayed the entire game again.
Did anybody leave the big giant finger on above Zidane's head when you walk around?
No.
Nope.
First thing I turned off. Let's see. Brian Ha, if anyone gets a shit-colored star for this game, they should be forced to cut and eat a whole durian. Brian's also the one who says his wife actually enjoys durian.
What?
And posted a picture.
Are you sure she's okay?
I had to ask.
Right,
I know,
Eric.
it's so funny.
What?
Eric, right?
What?
Serious question.
Mm,
Seeing as though you've
promise.
messed it up, you've messed it up twice now. Do we actually have any emails?
Oh God! Cover for me. Fill in some noise. Email.
The last 2 emails we've had, Eric has either forgotten about or not noticed, and they've not been read out.
Did I ever read that one where the guy called us out on it?
No.
Oh, he put on the community saying email fail. It was
Yeah.
on
Did
the,
I ever
on the
end up
Mishra
reading
episode.
that out?
No, because it was on the last episode. You missed it.
What was his name? Where is it? Oh God! I gotta find it. What was the guy's name? Help me.
I'm searching for it now. Hang on.
We get a lot of emails
We'll
that
read it
aren't
next time.
from the
It'll be
customer or
fine.
from listeners. Is it DJ Conway? Jonathan Yasovich?
That sounds right.
This is. All right, Jonathan, if you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. Jonathan writes, "Gay guys from Arkansas. It's your favorite disc jockey, factory sealed gaming fan. Love listening to you guys. I wake my wife up at night cracking up to you scrubs. Anyways, a few questions. Who has been crowned the Caramel Cran? I believe this half burrito Vado could qualify, Holmes. Well, I could be the mariachi pierogi Mexican Polish. Also, Eric, how do you like that Freedom video? Oh, he's the one who posted that trance video of me straddling that airplane at the kids' park. Did you guys see that?
Oh, God, yes. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan Curtis. I'm a huge Sonic fan. My grandma used to let me stay up all night at 5 years old and play Sonic the Hedgehog. So nice, the Hedgehog, sorry. And she would sit in her recliner drinking Dr. Pepper and smoking menthols while beating the Chaos Emerald stages for me. Also, the music of Sonic 3 is where I found my love for electronic music. Ice Cap Zone in particular. Sorry, Eric. Mega Man looks like Daft Punk's idiot cousin. My butler, Hefe, would like to meet Jeeves and Jive sometimes. Whenever, anyway, I had an idea for the next game, Spider-Man 64. I loved this game as a kid. Now looking back, I wonder if it still holds up. I remember the climbing mechanics are pretty awesome. Played for hours. I would love you guys to do this game. Well, keep up the good work. Pinkies up. Sitter.
Pinkies
for
up!
you chaps across the pond, I'm Slytherin. You guys are my bread friends. Wagwan.
That's a lot of references. Good
Best email ever.
That's a great email.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's Final Fantasy IX Disc 1. We're going to be moving on to Disc 2 in 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks, the 24th. Everybody's going to be here for that, right?
Finishing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be here for it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Sure am.
Cool. So, one other thing. I actually had the pleasure of meeting two of our community members and fans. Last week, I was in Minnesota and had the opportunity to meet up with Josh Moss and Jay Jorgensen and grab a couple beers. Super cool guys. Really cool. It was really nice to just kind of put faces with names. I know that we have a lot of people on our page that are really active, and I kind of wish we all lived closer and we could have more community meetups.
Yeah, me too.
But I did just I wanted to take a second and just express some gratitude for a minute. I know we get a lot of messages from people talking about their thanks for what we do and I guess the service that we provide. And I know we've said in the past that we're really thankful for you guys listening to us. But last week for me was particularly rough. I got some of the worst news I've ever gotten, and kind of left in this stage of like picking up the pieces and trying to just keep things together. And it was to the point where I'd considered stepping away from the show and just kind of focusing on me and my family and just kind of getting back to where I was. And the day after I got that news was just some great stuff that was posted on the community page. And it just kind of reminded me like that this is such a huge part of me. And it's super important to me to be a part of this. And just seeing the stuff that you guys post, like even just tag me in a comment about something. It's just like that day after I got that news, the 31st, where people were posting that, like that comment that somebody made about when I think about the giant trash island in the middle of the ocean, I get really sad. And it's like, yeah, England sucks. Like just stuff like that. Like we have this incredible community of people that we just understand each other. And I just want to say thank you to you guys, you three specifically for the support, but mainly for the community. Like you guys had no idea what was going on. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but this community has kept me going. And
Eric, I'm gonna say it this time. That is very heartfelt, and we love you. We're all here for you, and I'm gonna say you're not an idiot this week.
It's just been it's been a really rough week. Yeah, and I like even up till last night, I'd considered not coming on the show this morning, just dealing with a lot of stuff. but for me, staying on the show is something that's important. It's something that I see as a constant, and I need it just as much as you guys do. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. You're welcome, dude. I like I always say, always here for you, and beautifully said, all of that. All of your sentiments about the community and everything, I completely agree with. And I am on the edge of tears right now.
I mean, you guys know what's going on, so it's not a good time, but I appreciate the support, and from people within the community too, just kind of keeping the spirit of what Factory Sealed is alive. And
pinkies up, guys.
Pinkies up. I had told these guys too that there's a chance I'm stepping away, and if that's the case, I wanted them to keep it going on, but I don't want to step away.
No.
We don't want you to either.
No. What else are friends for, my good man?
I know. I appreciate it. So, sappy appreciation over.
Okay. Quick, someone say something stupid for the cold ending.
Mike, put in a dick joke.